Back to work today for the Buffalo Bills, and the big news before practice was that rookie cornerback Maxwell Harrison was going to, in fact, practice today. The first time he has done so since he did suffer his LCL injury all the way back in training camp. We'll know to what extent he was able to practice today when the injury report is released later this afternoon. We also got some notes from head coach Sean McDermott on what to be prepared for today. Daquan Jones, Josh Palmer, and Taylor Rapp were non-participants, while Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, and Curtis Samuel were all thought to be limited. Again, we'll all find that out once the injury report comes out. And when it does, the Barnes Firm Injury Report is brought to you by The Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Stay tuned. We'll get more on the Bills. Sal Kapacio will join the show at 5 p.m. Another note for this Sunday's game on the Carolina side of things is quarterback Bryce Young. Reports earlier this week were that he was going to be missing this Sunday due to a high ankle sprain, but Young was spotted out at practice without a boot or a noticeable limp. We'll see where that goes as the week continues. Some other quarterback news. Ravens' Lamar Jackson back on the practice field today. He continues to recover from a hamstring injury. And Washington is going to be going with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Jaden Daniels is out this week as he deals with his own hamstring injury. And then the Sabres, it is a game night tonight. They host Detroit, 6:30 pregame, a 7:30 puck drop. It is a TNT broadcast, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. And then some important lineup notes for tonight. Colton Ellis gets the start in net, his first start in the NHL. Forward Noah Ostlund looks to be sliding into the lineup, and Beck Malenstein is back in the lineup after missing Monday due to personal reasons. And then the other big Sabres note is for later this week. With the Blue Jays in the World Series, the start times for the home and home with Toronto later this week have been changed. Friday in Buffalo is now at 7 p.m., and Saturday in Toronto is now at 5. Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day?
Sports Radio 550.
I don't know. Everything's sideways. Hi. Thanks for listening. The Bills are favored to beat Carolina on Sunday. What if they don't? What if they just cover? What if they win by 3? You know what? You haven't even given your speech on how you hate Dave Canales yet, which I can't wait for.
Yeah. Keep waiting.
And I'm thinking about calling in sick on Friday so I can sort of rest up for Saturday night at the World Series, because now I'm going to the World Series. Like I don't know, but.
Thank you for laying that out so plainly.
What if the Bills beat Carolina? Let me pick the perfect score. 17-16. You're fine?
No, we're terrified.
Who's we?
Everybody.
These people are terrified already.
Well, right, okay.
You're not. You're sort of sane and cool.
Yeah.
What if they win 17-16 on a 44-yard, what's his name? Matt Prater field goal to win the game. The Bills turn the ball over 3 times to Carolina's 1. 3 weeks in a row, losing the turnover battle. I can't imagine how that happened. 17-16 at the gun.
I think, a few things.
Right away, I gave you this.
I think post game, there will be at least 3 people who, use the tried and true phrasing. Look, I hate to bring it up, but.
I'm calling to bring it up.
Don't you think it's time Maybe if they install Joe Brady as the head coach, he'll be able to fly and be free and do what he wants on offense instead of being restricted by McDermott. You notice how my voice is transforming as I'm getting further into the point that I consider absurd? Sorry, that sounds like I'm judging you if you don't like Sean McDermott, and that's not fair. You have ground to stand on if you think they should change coaches. Really,
I do want to get back to this.
It's just an opinion. But anyway, there will be a lot that. I mean, we're getting that this week. They haven't played a game in 10 days, and we're getting so they win a game like that, maybe with Andy Dalton playing quarterback for Carolina. We'll see. There's news about that today, right? Bryce Young doesn't have a brace on. He's out of practice. And
whatever.
Going to be limping. I think they're just playing games, but whatever.
Totally. Listen, you want Bryce Young to play.
Okay, I'm not as
you want an injured Bryce Young to play.
Oh, okay, well, sure. Okay, that changes
or
it,
healthy.
I guess, a little bit. I'm not as dug in on that. Like, I'm scared of Andy Dalton. Although I heard Tasker make your same point. Not so much about the injury, but just like you'd rather play the other guy than play
totally.
Dalton. So you've got
not even close.
You've got Tasker on your side. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Anyways,
if Bryce Young were a 13-year NFL veteran, he would never see a snap over Dalton. But he's not. He's the first overall pick from 2 years ago, and they're trying to make it work, and that's fine. That's normal. That's what we see all the time.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Do I need to continue with the
Yes,
scenario here?
please.
Like what's
My fault.
It sounds like the Bills have been eliminated from playoff contention. If they beat the Panthers to improve to 5-2, maybe even tie the Patriots.
Does New England win already at the same time?
I don't know. Who are they playing again?
Cleveland.
Oh my God.
They only play Cleveland the rest of the way.
Well,
all their remaining games are against Cleveland.
I guess now's the time to really lament the fact that the Browns traded away Joe Flacco. Then
actually, their next two games are against Atlanta and Tampa. I'll check.
Yeah, after this. Yeah, all right. Anyway,
Atlanta's one of them.
It just skinny your teeth win at this juncture of the season with. The time off, the bye week compounds it because they lost 2 games and we've been just sort of sitting with that, right? Like, why didn't they throw the ball to the running back? Why didn't they, just all the things. And it's been, extra. We got, value added here, you would say, an advertisement for this product. Value added time to sit with these 2 losses. So anything that doesn't go perfectly on Sunday is going to be enhanced by the fact that we've been just staring at the 4-2 record for 2 weeks. I think so. Yeah, I think it would sound like there's flames.
I think this game, they've had 2-game losing streaks, and last year they had a 2-game losing streak. They went to play the Jets on Monday night without, perish the thought, James Cook, and they won. But the Jets with a healthy, albeit old, Rodgers, is a different test than this. It's in the division. They've lost to the Jets a couple of times, and then they go there and they win by 3, and I think we're mostly okay. And then after that, they ramp up and they win like 8 in a row or something like that.
Make the Cooper trade right after that. That's the week of the Cooper trade after that Jet win.
Right.
It wasn't after the 2 losses. They played another game and then made the deal.
And they played the Titans at home. That was Cooper's first game. He catches a touchdown pass right before halftime
on a little slant. And wasn't there? Did Kansas City do something right? Like the day before, didn't some other contender did something in the league right the day before? Hopkins,
the Jets traded for Adams the day before or the same day.
Yeah,
maybe there was something else.
I feel like there was something else that a contending team did. Maybe. Anyway, or maybe it was just a wide receiver trade, like you're saying. But I felt like. There was something else, but I don't remember.
I would guess that going into the Jet game last year, so that's 3-2 after the Houston loss, I was probably like, well, this isn't going to be easy. And the game wasn't easy. 23-20, I think, was the score. This game is, the Jets are the Jets, and this doesn't have to be how you feel, but this is Carolina. Like, this is the game when we decide if the Bills are still the Bills.
Yeah.
And if they win 23-20 or 17-16, maybe they are. But I do think postgame would be kind of sideways if they won by a field goal or less against the Panthers. But that doesn't have to be bad. Then they're going to play Kansas City next week. I feel like, though, this came up, a caller brought this up yesterday, and this is a lot of people right now, I think. If they lose this game, I'm panicking. If they win by a field goal, not that different. Maybe we sort of we exhale, they survived it, and it's, on to the Chiefs, who they play the following week. So is any win good enough here for your psyche? I guess I still do want to ask.
It should be, but I don't even know that it would be for me. I don't want to sound. I know it sounds like I'm being judgmental about people who don't appreciate the wins when they come, and it's not that at all. The whole season, every year is a test. And emotionally, it messes with you, and not handling a team that looks handleable is going to be a problem. It's just going to make you feel like, great, the Chiefs are next. Right? Even though none of it matters. I mean, they're going to play a team that beat Atlanta 30-0. The Bills could not find a way to score points against Atlanta for some unknown reason. They blitzed. Suddenly blitzing. What is this new concept? You can rush more than 4 guys? I still can't believe they had so much trouble with that. But they did. But then the Chiefs, the Chiefs are looming, and will feel like they don't have a chance against the Chiefs. And of course that is not true. Because every week is a different thing. It's a living, breathing organism practically each week.
Here is what's interesting about next week. Dare we be accused of, looking ahead. Bills, Panthers, Chiefs, Washington, Monday night. If they both win, maybe we're sort of in the clear and we can sort of condense it to just this rivalry, the history of it, and whatever else there is. If either the Bills or the Chiefs lose this weekend, then I think, especially if New England wins, this game becomes seen as really important. And that's what has not really been true in most, if not all, of these Chiefs-Bills regular season games. It's cool, but it's not important. It's not important for much. Maybe home field. I don't know. I could go back and look at the last 5 years? Have they not played 5 years in a row? 2020 is COVID, and the Chiefs are here on a Monday afternoon or whatever that was that year. And I think they've played every year since in the regular season too. I don't think those games were really looked at, especially once the playoff rivalry evolved, as more than just all right, Nance and Romo, let's have a fun time. And this is not how the players would have thought, but there wasn't really that much on the line in these games. If the Bills and or Chiefs are at 3 or 4 losses, what if Kansas City loses to Washington?
With Marcus Mariota playing quarterback,
right,
by the way.
They're 11-point favorites. If they lose to Washington, that's their season next week. They probably won't. Maybe the Commanders will run 30 plays like the Raiders last week at Arrowhead. But a Bills loss, especially if New England is still ahead, and New England has Atlanta. They all play Atlanta. New England has Atlanta next week, I want to say. That's correct. At home. Anyway.
The Bills' regular season games with Kansas City would have mattered. Well, I want to just clarify, it hasn't been that important. The chase for seeding is and the 1 seed, but I guess the Bills have won these games 4 times in a row. Have they ever, because of it, vaulted ahead of Kansas City in the conference? I don't think so. I feel like Kansas City was ahead of you enough that you wanted to win and try to catch them. That's the level of importance, right? The games are never late enough in the season where you're guaranteeing yourself anything.
I can do the last 2 years, at least. Last year was the Bills needed to win to stay in the race.
To have a chance at it, right.
And so they did stay in the race, but the Chiefs never lost another game.
Right.
2 years ago is Kadarius Toney being offside. And so that I think the Bills are 6-6. Like that was important for them to sort of save their season,
get back on their feet. Yeah.
And they won there. The first year of it, 21, I want to say, was early, and it was a Sunday night blowout.
Right.
Where the Bills won there. Then there was another one in between. But it's not like they're not playoff games.
Right.
Simply. They're not do or die games. So I just wanted
even
to
though
say,
they've beaten them all these years, they've never finished ahead. Well, they were ahead of them, obviously, in 23 because the Chiefs came here. But they haven't gotten the 1 seed by virtue of beating the Chiefs, is all.
Right.
They haven't gotten it on a tiebreaker head-to-head on the Chiefs. And if that's what you mean by, the stake isn't that big.
all I mean is, if New England beats Cleveland this week and then Atlanta to go to 7-2, then Bills Chiefs 4:25 next Sunday, the loser might look like it's in trouble. The Bills would be in trouble for the division. They'd be a game and a half behind with a tiebreaker loss. They'll have to beat New England away. Still possible. A lot of season left. But the loser will look like they're in trouble. And the Chiefs already have 3 losses. If they win this week and lose here, that's 4. Then the bye. Then they go to Denver, play the Colts, and go to Dallas. And now you're sort of creeping up on too many losses to survive. Mm-hmm. That's where next week's game could feel like the biggest one of these with Kansas City. Because, again, like the loser could be looked at as wild card at best. Kansas City doesn't have anybody. The Chargers couldn't keep up. Denver's getting away with it. They have to play Denver twice, but nobody is. They don't have exactly what New England represents to the Bills, which is the Chargers couldn't keep the pace. And they've lost games. They're not, pulling away, stretching out from the Chiefs.
They're tied with the Chiefs now. They're both 4-3, and Denver's 5-2.
Right.
So what Denver doesn't have that New England has is a head-to-head win against the Chiefs already. Like New England's got that on the Bills, so they've got that half a leg up, if you will, on them. But it really comes into focus, and it really even harkening back to the week leading up to the Patriot game. Like you knew that this was possible. You could be looking up at these guys just like that, and going from undefeated to like, oh. What happened? And here you are, a couple of weeks down the road, and you're looking up at them. And any idea of being at say, 5-4, and them at 7-2 is kind of
that's with a loss this week,
right? Okay, yeah. So
let's say Chiefs and Bills both win this week, and then Kansas City wins here in Week 9. Then you have Kansas City at 6-3. And Buffalo at 5-3, probably in second place. And then it will feel, in relation to the Chiefs, it will feel like last year. Because Kansas City has that tougher schedule, but then the stretch run is pretty doable for them once they get past Thanksgiving. Houston, Chargers, Titans, Broncos at home, Raiders. That's where the Bills have at Pittsburgh, whatever Cincinnati is, at New England, at Cleveland in, probably 18 inches of snow, then the Eagles,
right?
Then the Jets. Like that's where Kansas City would have the edge. If they could get to, it's not a game of Buffalo versus Kansas City, or is it? But if they can get to the end of November level, then I think they would have the
edge on the Bills.
Probably
Chiefs,
by the schedule. We're already to that. We're already to
I
next
guess so.
week.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
this is the week where we decide if the Bills are still the Bills. Because if they win by whatever score or ever margin would satisfy you, then okay. Then we've really been wasting our time for these last 2 weeks. If they don't, again, whatever that line is, wherever that line is drawn, if they don't, then it's going to feel like, uh-oh.
Can they really do this?
Because New England will have the lead, and Kansas City's so back, whatever the Colts are, whatever else, Denver, even Baltimore, if they win, whatever else is happening, this doesn't have to be determinative, but it'll feel like, all right, well, now is the time to panic. I think Hopefully, what's the margin for you? Cover. They haven't covered since week 2.
I said yesterday what does this say? Who couldn't use this? 30-10. They should kill this team.
I don't know.
They should kill this team. Someone has to say it.
I don't think so.
I think they should kill this team. Just all the noise, all the shortcomings, everything. Roll it all up. Go down there and just take it out on them. That's an outcome that's in the window. I don't know how likely it is. 10%, 20%. They should be the better team, and I don't think it should be that hard to see.
Well, this is where you and I sort of part ways because I don't agree with that. I don't think they should kill this team. And the reason is because of their defense. I don't think their defense should dominate. I don't think it even comes close to looking like it's that kind of team, that kind of defense. You get takeaways from Dalton. You get takeaways from anybody. You get Hoyt and Ogunjobi back. The law firm of Hoyt and Ogunjobi is going to save the day. Okay. But Carolina runs the ball. They've got a good to great young wide receiver. They've got a couple other guys that are interesting. I just don't look at this game as like the Bills should roll. I'd love to see it, but I don't think it sets up like that. So I would take more of a modest victory because I feel like it's more likely. Of course, it's more likely, but
it's more realistic. Maybe is that not the same thing?
No, I'd be really impressed if the Bills blew them out. That's it. I don't think it should be that.
See, and that's where let me circle back to what it sounds like after, right? Because I think there will be plenty of people that they could beat this team 30-10, and the first person through on postgame is going to it's Carolina. It's Andy Dalton. What is he, 70 years old? They can't win for trying this week. They could kill this team, and plenty of people are still going to be like, the Chiefs are going to kill them.
Well, that's what it is.
So that's just how it goes. They've worked themselves from 4-0 into a spot where clobbering Carolina will fail to impress some portion of their fan base, I think.
Right? That's what it is.
That's how it goes.
There have been a lot of those games in the last 5 years.
Yep.
And many of those times, it was laughable.
And none of it ended up mattering because you still just had to find a way to beat the Chiefs in January. Which is pretty much which is still what we're doing here,
wasted day we spend here is ultimately because no matter what happens tomorrow, it'll be that still, I think. Okay. Well, fun.
Yes.
Sal will join us at 5 to tell us what arcade games or ping pong tables or the like are in the Bills' locker room and should they be removed, and is there going to be a room for these things in the new stadium, and is that already sort of built in? Can't wait to ask those questions. Before that, Mike Wilner on the Blue Jays in the World Series, as you may have heard, against the Dodgers. Game 1 is Friday. Card of the day for those of you watching on Twitch or the YouTube.
I can't see who that is. I can't see that. I can't read the name.
I'll pass it over.
Nah, it's okay.
For now, it's the secret that those of us hold that are watching and me so far. I didn't tell anybody about the card of the day.
Okay.
I will.
I would like you to.
It's a rookie card.
Yeah, nice.
It's yours for
an
even 20. It's not a big card. Not like ours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ours.
It is ours.
Steven Strasburg rookie card.
I would not trade this card. Well, I would trade this card for that card straight up. Sabres tonight, home to Detroit. Pregame at 6:30 with Paul Hamilton. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. ESPN.com has an interesting article today. 25 players who could be traded. Some of you are there. Maybe we should be there. Just talk about the trade deadline all the time. What the Bills should do, who they should want. I'm game for it. We'll be back, hopefully, with your calls at 803-0550 after this break. This is WGR.
puppy on the street last night. Said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
I know it's establishing who we are as a team, and that continues to unfold week after week. And I don't really know that we're there yet, and that's okay. But we got to keep pushing. We got to stay urgent with our approach, the discipline, the detail that I mentioned earlier. It's really establishing who we're trying to become as a football team, and you just take it 1 week at a time. Guys have been in and out of the lineup too, which affects some of that.
I think that was Sean McDermott, but I was talking to Bulldog about something personal.
A big WL.
WL.
Hang the WL.
What did he say?
Fly the WL flag.
Is that going to be something that we needed to hear?
So sorry.
WL. Like the Cubs, don't the Cubs have like a W flag and an L flag? But when they have a doubleheader and they split it, do they have a WL flag? I wasn't listening, win-loss?
I don't know.
Probably not.
We don't know.
You wouldn't have that.
No. I ran into a guy Friday night at the bar after we got out of here who had a Cubs Cubs hat with that logo on it, and I didn't recognize
what
it.
What is
right
it, like
away.
A white W?
He had a white hat with a blue. It was a blue W in this one. And we'd been chatting for a few minutes, and then he held it up and showed it to me, and I was like, oh. All right. And I wasn't sure what it was, and then he told me, and his wife, or whatever, the woman who was with, said, well, I mean, I don't know. They could have been brother and sister for all I know. I don't know. She said, he knows what that is. And I'm sitting there going, like, I really didn't know what that. I didn't recognize the W. Like, I know the Cubs fly that flag, but I'd never seen the W on a hat, so I didn't realize that there was a hat with the W. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. That really didn't need to come out.
No.
It really wasn't that interesting.
The card of the day is a 1979 O-Pee-Chee Baseball Willie Upshaw rookie, then Toronto Blue Jays first baseman. Yesterday, I had Round Ball Rock in my head all day, and I never watched a second of it, but I heard it was good. Like what NBC did was good, I guess. I didn't watch any of it. Today, it's that OK Blue Jays song.
I love that song.
It's great.
Do you know that you and I both, like within, I think I was first, but after Springer's home run, we both tweeted OK Blue Jays.
Yes, I saw that, yeah.
And
I didn't see yours.
And I had, someone, said something to me about you and I doing that, and I said, well, I've been texting that. My friend John Gale is, hanging on every pitch of this series. He spent a lot of his adult life in Toronto with his family, and his sons are, around the world, and he's watching this. And so anything good happens in that series, I am texting him, and I take my time with it. Okay, paragraph, Blue Jay. Like, I'm leaving room for the hand claps. Okay, Blue Jays. Let's play ball. Like, that's the text. It's like this long. The text is, so I just space it out.
I didn't do it that way.
I love that song. I think it's a great baseball team song.
I agree. I can't stop singing it or playing it in my house.
I think I like it more than Meet the Mets.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fine.
And I do like, I like Meet the Mets is great. It's a classic.
Meet the Mets is old.
Yeah.
Early 60s, like the beginning of the Mets. A buddy of mine who, I would lose a 15-round bout against this guy in like sort of old sports trivia. And I mean that as a compliment. Maybe it sounds arrogant, but like I feel like I could beat a lot of people at that. Not Kevin. And Kevin, who is Canadian, texted me a point about that song. And he's like, can you tell from the lyrics when it was written? And so I had to study the lyrics and listen to it closely.
The Met song?
No,
the
Blue Jays
song. Okay.
And you can, because in the last verse, there's a reference to Billy Martin as the manager of the A's.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I never knew that. I've never gone far.
It's got to be 81, 82.
I don't know I don't know the verses. I just know the OK Blue Jays, let's play ball. That's all I know.
That's all you need to know.
Meet the Mets. Come on down and greet the Mets. That's all I know of the Meet the Mets song, too.
Well, you know what? That can wait because the Mets are dead. The Mets are not playing baseball anymore this year.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Save us from the Mets song.
How's it going, guys?
Great. I'm singing the Mets song.
The Bills song isn't that young either, by the way, but just saying. I just want to ask you guys a quick question. At the beginning of the season, everybody was really leaning high on how amazing our offense was last year. Everybody eats, and now it seems like there's a general rush of panic. We need Chris Olave. We need Calvin Ridley. We need someone to beat them deep. Is it a matter of injuries or is it a matter of mindset? Because, quite honestly, it seems like everybody on the podium after this last game was as depressed as like we just played the 13 seconds game. And quite honestly, it's just like it doesn't seem like we have the same confidence after losing 2 games that are like reasonably okay to lose. So I just wanted to hear your opinion.
Well, I think it's not a matter of, I don't know what 2 words you just used, but to me it's a matter of talent. Do they have enough talent to get the job done? And I don't know. Like I don't want to make too many leaps without having, intimate knowledge or having been told something. But I think anyone that sounds or looks defeated or depressed about the state of things, if you're talking about Josh Allen, I think it's possible Josh Allen is just as worried about their offense as we are. Like, he's the quarterback. He's the one who's got to make it work. He's the one who's got to facilitate everybody eats and get by without having a bona fide number one target that he can count on 3rd and 7. And I don't know, like, if he just feels like this isn't working right now. So I think that could be it. But I don't know that that's it. But it could be. Like, anyone who's in a position of control there, right? He's got the ball. He's got to believe in it and see it and execute it. And I don't know if he's seeing enough that is, that can make it work right now. I don't think they did in the Atlanta game. They scored 14 points. So that's my answer there. I mean, I think it's when you know what you're probably going to have to do, and the defensive problems are sort of baked into it. If you think you got to score 30 every week, or certainly 30 in the playoffs, and you're only scoring 14 and 20 the week before that, I would understand being concerned about it. That's why we're concerned about it, and I don't think it would be weird at all for someone inside to be having the same concern. Because, I mean, they're gonna know. Can we do this? Do we have enough here? We could speculate it from out here, but that might come through. Might. Again, I'm not saying I know this, but, you're asking why they sound and look defeated. There's a guess and an answer for you.
Okay, Ryan, here's Brandon next. Hi, Brandon.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good.
Quick question. I don't want to turn this into a big blow-up like it's happened a few times when I've called you, but, like, what would McDermott have to do for you guys to agree that maybe he might be a part of the issue? Because the problem is, our defense goes out there, and, yeah, we didn't put up a lot of points against Atlanta, but we also gave up, 150 yards to Bijan Robinson in the first half? I mean...
What's the issue?
At a certain point, it's got to become... Our defense is a huge issue, and he's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, yet his defense, it's never worked for us. The games that we win are because Josh goes up there and puts up, 350, 5 touchdowns. I mean, it's craziness, but we never win them close games because we always give up 32.
Always give up 32, 5 touchdowns. How many Josh Allen 5
They
touchdowns
gave up
are there?
3 points in the second half of the Atlanta game. The 180 yards Bijan Robinson hung on them doesn't go on the scoreboard. They gave up 24 points and lost the game.
But it ate the clock, and it didn't give Josh any time to really do anything.
They had the ball 3 times in a row in the third quarter and got 11 yards with a chance to tie the game.
So our defense, isn't it like we can go out there and give up all these yards every week and it's not a big deal?
All these yards
The
every
scoreboard
week.
is what matters. They lost the game 24-14. Like, I know what the first half looked like, and it felt utterly demoralizing. I'm hanging that game on the offense. I'm sorry. They scored 14 points. They looked like they'd never seen a blitz before.
Okay, the week before that, it had nothing to do with our defense.
I'm not saying it had nothing to do with it. It's just like what do you want here? You want an answer to when will I think Sean McDermott should get fired? Is that what you want?
Yes.
But you don't want it to be a big blow-up conversation. That we established right away.
I'm just trying to understand,
I'm trying to understand why someone who likes the Buffalo Bills before a Week 8 matchup with the Carolina Panthers, with the Bills sitting at 4-2, having won the division 5 years in a row, wants to call a radio show and ask us when the coach should get fired. What's the scenario? I want to understand how that mind works. Because they're 4-2, you want to look down the road to when you can fire this guy because you're so sure it's never going to work. And I'm sorry. I think it's absurd. And it's going to be a big blow-up every time because I think it's asinine.
When has our defense helped us in the playoffs? Ever.
Ever. The pick 6 against Baltimore. Is that any good?
What happened the very next week?
Oh, my God. I know.
There's no winning. Sorry, Brandon. You got what you wanted. It didn't become a big blow-up.
No. I'm fine. We're done.
You got what you wanted by calling in.
We're not going to make it to January.
I am going to make it to January. Might not.
I'm not. That's why we as yeah.
I don't have any time off left.
Yeah.
I got to pace myself.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, how do people have discussions like real ones with people who talk like that. I don't mean about Sean McDermott. Who cares? It's a football game. But like 5 touchdowns, 332 yards a week, whatever the nonsense, like whatever the numbers were, just you can't, no matter what you would have said, there was a but. And it didn't even have to be based in reality. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just, I don't know. I can't function in life engaging in those kind of conversations. I don't even know how you could possibly survive it. Can we talk about, like, reality, or do we have to twist it so terribly to make it interesting? I don't know. We are in radio. Trent is next. Hi, Trent.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
How's it
Trent.
going? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I just wanted to say we need to stop blaming Sean McDermott for things. These callers calling in, it's making me lose my mind on my drive home. It's he's a great head coach. He's got us here. He built this culture. We might need a separator. I don't know if you guys heard the rumors of we're looking into Jacoby Myers or Calvin Ridley, but
we haven't heard the rumors. Trent, what have you heard?
My friend actually texted me earlier and said he saw somewhere.
See, I don't know your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but he said Jacoby Myers and Calvin Ridley have been talked about
by other fans.
Yeah, I guess that could be it. But yeah, I've been at work all day, so I thought maybe.
Me too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, those are names. Myers was asked yesterday because he asked for a trade before the season began. The Raiders said no, and he was asked again yesterday about, like, do you still want to be moved? Like, oh yeah, but I'm going to do my job. I'm here, and and if it doesn't happen, I'm going to keep doing my job. But he would welcome a trade. I don't know about Ridley.
Neither guy, not in my opinion, neither guy really matters. I mean, Myers is Shakir, I think, mostly. You have Shakir. This is, again, where I say big investment in Shakir isn't as sexy as you want it to be, because it's actually a cap on what you can be at that position. You can't move anybody to the slot. You can't exactly get full Kincaid. You've got Khalil Shakir catching his 6 for 75 every week from that position, and, that's fine. That's what the Bills wanted. That's what they did. They made the double down investment on him. He's good. He's not great, but there's a long list of guys you cannot fold in to their offense unless you remove him. And why would they do that? They just invested in him. Everybody eats 30 points a game. He's locked in. And so is Kincaid at his 60% snap share. And they want to run the ball because that's how they win. And so that's Knox. And now what are you down to? You could conceive of, this is really all we talk about, you could conceive of an elite outside receiver, ex-receiver, that probably costs you your number one, which compromises everything they've seen. Shakir, Kincaid, Coleman, still a young player, early draft pick. Are they really going to want to cancel any of that to do something else? Calvin Ridley is kind of shot maybe. Like, that's Amari Cooper, I think.
I like both of the Saints guys better as ideas. They're very different. Shahid's like a complementary piece. He's going to get down the field for you. Olave is a number one receiver.
Very much so. Doubt you can get him. Doubt the Bills would really want to do that because of where they've planted their flag, but I would love to be wrong about both of those things. They'd have to have both for it to come to fruition. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. Let's keep going. This is WGR. Just asking, but are you ready to take your game day to the next level? Enter online now at WGR550.com for a chance to win a $300 tailgate tray certificate from Alibaba Kebab to feed 12 football fans. Each Friday, a winner is announced during Football Friday with us. Fire up your taste buds at any of their 3 locations. I never mentioned yesterday, which I felt terrible about, that Ross Tucker, why he was not on. He's going to be on tomorrow. Why couldn't he do yesterday? I forget. It was bye week, and I don't know. It's not his bye week. But anyway, Ross tomorrow, and Joe Ostrowski tomorrow, as usual. Friday, Sam Paniatovich. Theo Greminger in for Ian Harditz, who will be on next Friday. He wanted the Chiefs game slot, Ian.
Oh, yeah?
He wanted my birthday. That's what Ian wanted. So he pushed it back a week.
That's so thoughtful.
Before Chiefs Bills. That's the better... More eyeballs, more clicks.
Yeah.
That's what Ian wants. He wants the clicks. He wants clicks through us. Because he doesn't get enough of his
Your
own.
birthday is not before the Chiefs game, right?
It is that Friday. November 7th.
Isn't the
Chiefs game is the 9th. Isn't it?
No. The Chiefs game is the 3rd.
Oh, the 2nd.
Or the 2nd.
You're right.
Me. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm the next week. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll take it all back.
I feel like I got a handle on it's been...
When my birthday is.
It's been...
You're right.
It's been many years.
I'm the Friday before Miami.
All right.
Next Friday. That Friday is Halloween. That's what Ian wanted. He wanted Halloween.
Oh, now you got it. Yeah.
Now I got it.
No one trusts you. You keep changing your story.
That's not fair. Let's go to Spencer. Hi, Spencer.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thank you.
I don't think we need 5 touchdowns every game from Josh to win, but some of the apprehension that I do have since the season has started is that the offense has looked significantly flat, and that's the worry. I feel at first it was like, are they just getting off to a slow start? You got some new pieces, and then nothing happened for it. We're not. I mean, everybody wants to throw the ball deep, but we're not doing it more than twice a game, I feel like. And to use more like that, I think that would be beneficial. With the Atlanta game, I think the second half, defense played lights out. Great. They gave Josh every opportunity, and they were flat. And that's the killer. I know. I'll let you guys go.
Okay, thanks. Let's go to Brian here. Hi, Brian.
Hey, guys. This has been kind of creeping into my mind. It's actually been, I've said it jokingly to my friends, and let me preface it by saying this: I want no other quarterback than Josh. But you see, during the Falcons game, he misses that long throw to Josh Palmer. Now, he didn't miss it, but he hit Josh Palmer on that long throw. Man, if he just placed it in front of him, we would have been, touchdown right there. And he misses a lot of those throws. Sometimes I wonder, he gets praised for the hero ball, but is it because he's not making the right read on first down, second down? The throws along the sideline, wow, he hit so many of those, but, is it because he's missing his reads where he could have got the ball off sooner? And because he's not making those reads, he's kind of doing playground ball, like he's forced to kind of heave the ball up there. And, more often than not, somebody comes down with it, which is, pretty amazing. But, it's just, I threw this out to one of my friends and they really got some harsh, feedback from it. But
yeah, well, I mean, when your lead is, I don't want anyone else to be the Bills quarterback besides Josh Allen. But I mean, I tell you, our fans watching on Twitch, and the YouTube, you got my attention with the butt. That was a big butt there. I mean, all time, like big dumper size butt there.
Talk slower.
He's not perfect. I can't. I would highly recommend Joe Marino's film breakdowns. Subscribe to his Substack. He's on every week, every Wednesday with Jeremy and Joe. He's on again this morning, and I'm watching those every week. And there's throws even in this Atlanta game where, by and large, we all settle for people aren't getting open, and there's a lot of that. But there are also, and Joe will highlight these plays, there are also throws that he just passes up. It seems like he's looking at it and like wants something else, so he doesn't take the easy, like what Joe would refer to as NFL open. That guy right there is NFL open. Throw the ball. And you're going to get your 7 yards and keep moving. But he passes some of that stuff up. Lots of, like all guys do. You got to really sit and go through every play.
I'll tell you one thing that has come to mind for me in the last 7 shows, whenever we started after they lost to the Falcons, about Allen. I will tell you after the break.
All right. That's a tease right there, folks.
803-0550, the update next. Mike Wilner on the Blue Jays at 4:30, Sal at 5. This is WGR.
The Bills' first injury report of the week is out, and 3 players did not practice today. Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp, and Josh Palmer. And then 5 players were limited. Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Milano, Curtis Samuel, and Maxwell Hairston. And the important note for Hairston, this is the first practice he's had since picking up his injury earlier on in training camp. Everyone else today was a full participant. That does include, of course, Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Do stay tuned. We'll get more on the Bills. Sal Kapacio does join the show in just about an hour at 5 p.m. One other injury note for Bills and Panthers. It was reported earlier this week that quarterback Bryce Young would miss due to a high ankle sprain, but as practices get underway for the Panthers as well, Young was out at practice today and did not seem to be in a boot or walking with any noticeable limp. We'll see if that continues the rest of the week. And then some other quarterback injury news. Lamar Jackson back to practice for Ravens. He's recovering from a hamstring injury. And then Washington, they're going to go with Marcus Mariota at QB. Jaden Daniels out this week. He's dealing with a hamstring issue as well. For the Sabres, it is game night. They host Detroit, 6:30 pregame, 7:30 puck drop. It is a TNT broadcast, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. And then some important lineup notes for tonight. Colton Ellis gets the start in net, his first start of his NHL career. Forward Noah Ostlund looks to be sliding into the lineup, and Beck Malenstein is back after missing Monday due to personal reasons. And then for later on this week, with the Blue Jays in the World Series, the start times for the home-and-home series with the Sabres and Maple Leafs will be changed just a little bit. Friday in Buffalo is now at 7 p.m., and then Saturday in Toronto will now be at 5. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
If you wrap foil around that, just like the little bit of the base part of the banana where the fruit is, wrap foil around that top and they will last longer.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Who needs your bananas to last longer, though?
Look, I don't want to go to the store every other day for bananas.
They're 8 cents each.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
You're going to wrap them in foil?
They're better when they're just a little green. Yeah.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Too much work.
Not that much trouble.
Too much work.
Says the guy that's got a spreadsheet with 3,000 fantasy teams.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
I know you didn't ask, but it's 294, and it's killing me. It's killing me. These lineups, these waivers nights.
Yeah.
It's hours every night. How do I not know better than to know this would become of me by mid-October? Oh, I forgot to take Debo out.
I had some level of aggravation today with my singular fantasy team. One fantasy team that I co-manage with my son Owen. He came home from work, and I came downstairs, and we met in the kitchen. I was making some eggs, and he was eating something. I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. And he said, Paul texted me. We got to move Samuel out of IR because he's not actually on IR.
Right.
And I said, okay.
How dare you?
I didn't even know I did that, but I guess I did. Whatever. Okay. And Owen even said Curtis Samuel. I said, we don't have Curtis Samuel. What the hell are you talking about? Like, Debo. Okay. All right, I'll look at that. So I go in the app, and I see this. All right. He's not on IR, but he got deposited there because I added someone. I don't know what happened.
You moved him to IR.
I moved him to IR because
the app lets you.
The app let me do it, right? So I thought it was okay to do. I didn't realize we have rules in Paul's league.
We do
that are different from the rules governing the app
somehow
for the millions of people who. Okay, so anyway, so we got this rule I didn't know about. So I got to move Debo Samuel. So I moved Debo Samuel. You know what it let me do? It let me put Kyler Murray there.
Wrong.
So I just did that. I went, okay, well, Debo Samuel's got to get out of there. I'm going to just 20 minutes later, now I get a text from Paul, which is now 2 more communications about this fantasy football team than I ever want to have in my life. And they're happening within like 20 minutes of one another. You can't have Kyler Murray there either. He's not actually on IR.
Right. Simple.
And I'm like, oh. The app let me, so I just did it. So I had to dump.
So then you moved Josh Allen to IR.
So I got it right. Fine. I want to play by the rules. I didn't realize the app would let me do things that are illegal via our rules, Paul's rules.
That's
life in Paul's league.
That's this league.
Yeah. So anyway, Owen brings it up to me. I'm like, I don't care, right? We're 2-5. What's he going to do? Throw me out of the league? I don't have to go to the stupid draft next year? Fine. I don't care.
Well, that's very negative.
Yeah, I know. I would miss all of you.
Yes.
A little.
I'm sure you would hate to miss it.
Yeah. So anyway, I rectified the situation, but stupid. I like hearing from Paul about the hockey stuff. I just don't. I don't ever want to be like.
You can't put players on IR on ESPN according to Paul's rules that aren't on IR.
Right. You can't just stash them there.
Out is not IR.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a setting on ESPN that would accomplish that. I think Paul is diligent about this, and I'm assuming there isn't. But it's the only league in the last 10 years that I've played on ESPN is this league. So I have no idea. I have no idea what's possible.
Okay.
I just know that you can't. That's what I know. Kevin is next. Hi, Kevin. Kevin.
Yeah.
Sorry, did we lull you to sleep with all this scintillating fantasy conversation?
I was just trying not to kill myself in this traffic jam.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
Just trying to figure out. I'm watching 3 or 4 football games a week, and not on everything, but on most of the top 5 quarterbacks. You're looking at the ball. Everyone's talking about throwing the deep ball. No one's throwing the deep ball. They're throwing a 20-yard pass that's going for 70, or a 15-yard pass that someone misses a tackle and it goes at 35. It's not. It's not the 70-yard bombs that, it seems like the Bills fans are complaining about. It's like, I don't either. I mean, you look at Baker Mayfield having a great year. I mean, that guy don't throw the ball more than 20 yards because he doesn't have time to. But again, they're scoring all these points, and it's the same thing with, you watching Goff. They're hitting receivers that are moving. It seems like our receivers, everything's like curl route or something that's going to stop you from keep the motion. No crosses, no slants, nothing that keeps the receiver in motion to get you more than 10 yards at a pop.
Yeah, no, I think you're onto it. That's right. It's not deep. Not to sort of move in on your point, but my perspective listening to we're the complaint department. I don't think most fans are complaining about anything, but we're the complaint department. If you're going to have a complaint and you listen to us, this is where you come. I don't think we know what we want. The deep ball, Kevin's right. You don't see that around the NFL. He's right. I watch more games than he does, or the same at the most. I watched as many games as he does. He's right. You don't see that. Yesterday we had throw the ball to James Cook 10 times. How deep are those routes? Not at all. Maybe the line of scrimmage.
They're going to be behind the line of scrimmage a lot.
I don't think we know what we want. I said before the break, I think we're coming up on a new moment here in discussion about this team, and I mean really new. And that's, are we sure that Allen isn't to blame for anything? Because really, I'm not saying this is wrong, but for the most part in the last 5 years, anything that wasn't great about their offense was someone else's fault. Guys can't get open. Scheme. Even blocking, I guess, maybe came up. Just like, it couldn't be him. And I'm not ready to say anything here is him. That's not the point here. But I think fans are trying to tiptoe around or try to figure out why it's only the 2 games, right? But really why the offense isn't more efficient or more explosive or why it just flatly isn't better. And it's hard to really say. Is this Keon Coleman's fault? Is it Joe Brady's fault? Is it Sean McDermott not being... I mean, we're all sort of like blindfolded here trying to nail what really the thing is. And to my ears, for the first time ever since Alan got pretty, it's like, are we sure that he knows what to do? Yet one day this week, he wasn't strong enough. Literally, somebody called in to say that. I mean, it's just like, there's something...
Because he made commercials in the offseason.
Instead of lifting.
Yes.
There's something about it
both.
that you can't do both. I mean, couldn't you lift while you're getting makeup? Anyway, like there's something about it that doesn't sit right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe for the first time, some portion of the fan base is willing to question whether he's got a role in that. And, why wouldn't a quarterback have a role in that?
Of course he does. Of course he does. He has to. He's the quarterback.
But what do you want, though? Like, do you want him to run more? Do you want him to throw the ball to receiver X more often? Do you want him to just take deep shots? Frankly, Josh Allen, for all his arm talent, was never really that good in terms of completion rate at the deep ball, however you define it, plus 20 yards or plus 40 yards, whatever. Like, when this all started, you saw him miss John Brown by 5 yards, like, constantly. But that's eternity ago.
That's a long time ago now. Yeah, right. There was a lot of deep stuff to Diggs and Davis and Emmanuel Sanders worked in there in between that I think sort of quelled that. But that all happened while the whole league was doing that, and the whole league has kind of stopped doing that, and that's part of the caller's point. Look, what you're suggesting is what I have been on about since January of 23. I've got the ball on your side of the field with 1:40 to go, and I need a touchdown to beat you. And you're the team I'm playing is the Chiefs. Like, I know we'd all really like to. I'm sorry, I'm going to need my quarterback to come through there at some point. In order to get where we want this all to go, he's going to have to deliver in that situation, despite whatever flaws we perceive or in reality know the defense has. Because you're not. What do we want? We want to be able to needle the game out against Kansas City? I mean, that'd be great. I'd like to beat them by 3 touchdowns someday. You're probably not. That's not realistic. You're going to have to keep stabbing them in the heart over and over and over and hope it gets light out, and they got to go run and hide because they're the Chiefs. They're the champs. So you got a chance to put the dagger in them. You got to put the dagger in them. And when you don't, I have a very hard time then listening to, well, yeah, but they gave up blah, 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 blah per play and this and that. I'm sorry. I got my guy. You got your guy. I've got the ball. Best man wins. And my best man has missed 2 years in a row in the playoffs. However you want to slice it. Like, the last 2 years. Their season has ended with them having the ball and a chance to score and failing.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
3 is Cincinnati.
And so, right. And that was just a disaster across the board.
4 is 13 seconds, which to criticize him is heresy.
Would be ridiculous. Right. But like all of it sort of springs from that. And I say it all the time. We don't want to criticize him. He's great. He is the main reason that any of this is afloat at all. But that doesn't mean that he should be impervious to being criticized for not coming. He didn't come. No, he hasn't come through.
I don't think it should either. But it still seems a little crazy to me. I just wonder if we're like one loss away from if he has a bad day Sunday. I'm not saying he will. If he does, I wonder if like that sort of starts. I don't think it's really started. I mean, most people are not calling in to say like,
no,
this is Allen's fault at all. But there's a little hint of it in the air. There's a little, because I don't think most of us understand why we're here. And I think, honestly, some of this is because we just had the bye week after 2 losses. And what's most recent is negative. And so, like, this is where we're at. And, other years recently are pretty good examples of how you can look back on this and maybe think that you were crazy for...
Yeah, another game comes along and rescues you, and we didn't have a game this week. So we're just sort of bathing in the stink is what we're doing.
Bathing in the Stink. One of my favorite Annie Lennox songs.
B-side to Sweet Dreams.
Bathing in the Stink. Sorry. Did you have more?
No, I didn't. But no, I'm sorry. Do you think my premise is ridiculous? What did you say when I got done there? Like, it just seems like it's a lot. It's too much to ask. So like, that's why no one. I don't say no one. That's why when I've been making that point for more than a year now, like going back to January of 23, and it's still the defense. And
I don't think it's ridiculous. But I don't think it's quite fair or quite right, I guess I should say better. It's not unfair. It's not like mean-spirited or anything like that. It's just, to me, it's not the bigger point. It's the bigger point to me on how they've lost is 9 yards per play. What was last year even against Kansas City? Like the numbers on Kansas City's offense are extremely good against the Bills. And last year it happened after a season where they couldn't do anything against anybody. So to me, it's more of that. As you know, I don't think it's unfair. It's just, to me, like, not the bullseye, right? I think it's on the board. I think it's on the list. It's a point. But to me, it's not the point because, respectfully.
Right.
Because I think why they're losing those games is more about that they cannot get off the field on defense, and if they could, then Allen could be Brady. I mean, if Mahomes is great. If they could get off the field against him, no interceptions in 4 playoff games, 9 yards per play, everything else, even when they're really troubled, then he could have rings.
So I'm asking for one more play, and that's too much. You want them to be able to kneel out the game against Kansas City?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's realistic.
I think one more play from anybody ever is asking a lot, because how many plays are there, and how many would you give him a plus or a minus, right? Like in a game. Mm-hmm. And I think the bar is a little high, I guess, relative.
Right. Well. And this brings us all the way around to, like, am I hanging that on him? Not the way people hang 13 seconds on Sean McDermott or the overall defense's failures on Sean McDermott, but it is organizational. It's part of the problem I have with being the way he was after the draft about receiver. Because that last possession against Kansas City last year, there it is. It's Amari Cooper behind the line of scrimmage getting caught because that's like the last meaningful play he ever played in the NFL. That was your best idea. And then it's just a schmozzle because the blitz and whatever. And I don't have a guy. I don't have a go-to thing. And that does leave more on Allen than I'd like. But I still feel like that's an offensive structural build problem more than it's my defense can't get stops. Because if I've got the ball with a chance to win, I don't know, I'm taking that every time. I go in to play Kansas City and I have the ball at the end with a chance to beat you, I'm signing up for that ahead of time.
Me too.
Every time. And so, I don't know, then where do I end up? I end up at 9 yards of play and all this other stuff, but I still had the ball and a chance to win. So get me enough stuff so that dude can make one more play, and I'm going to beat you. And I know, make it sound pretty simple.
Yeah, that's it. They've done a lot of different things. Maybe not the exact right thing, but to win that game, I think we're sort of where we're on the same page is what they've tried to do to win that game is mostly on the front seven. On defense. It's not receiver. And that's not a criticism of Allen at all. That's more just like roster decisions and draft picks and those kinds of things. And I think we kind of mostly agree on those judgments that the Bills have made. Like, all right, well, but at the same time, as we say all the time also, they've picked pass catcher with their first pick 2 years in a row before this year. And they're not that all set yet with either guy.
No, definitely not.
So you get it right, and whatever that means, like yesterday I did the whole thing about different tight end options and different receiver options. It's not easy. And some of that is I think, their own self-imposed limitations in the passing game because they have 3 tight ends on the field, and they've decided, this is Joe Brady, they've decided that their offense is best being more physical and sort of bully ball than this. But you want that to correlate. You want the scheme to make sense from who the players are. So I think they've mostly done well with that. I don't know. We need another game here soon.
Yeah, we do.
We have the World Series this weekend right up the road. Mike Wilner will change subjects here next, talk about the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Sal Kapacio joins us at 5. The Sabres are home to Detroit tonight. Pregame at 6:30 here on WGR.
is out. Just 3 players did not practice. Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp, and Josh Palmer. And then 5 players were limited. Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Milano, Curtis Samuel, and Maxwell Hairston. And for Hairston, of course, this is his first practice since picking up his injury all the way back in training camp. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm Injured. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. Do stay tuned. We'll get more on the Bills. Sal Kapacio joins the show in about a half hour at 5 p.m. And some other Bills-Panthers news. Quarterback Bryce Young. It was originally reported to start this week that he would miss due to a high ankle sprain, but out of today, Young was out at practice and not seen in a boot or walking with a noticeable limp. We'll see if that continues on as the week goes. Lamar Jackson was a limited participant today as he returned to a Ravens practice, and Washington is going to go with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Jaden Daniels dealing with his own hamstring issue. He is out this week. For the Sabres, it is game night. They host Detroit, 6:30 pregame, a 7:30 puck drop. It is a TNT broadcast, though, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. An important lineup note for tonight, Colton Ellis will get the start in net. It is his first start in the NHL. And the other big Sabres news is later this week. Blue Jays in the World Series, and with that, the start times for the home with Toronto later this week have been changed ever so slightly. Friday in Buffalo will now be at 7, and then Saturday in Toronto is now at 5. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well pitch. Left field, Arozarena watches it go!
George Springer's all-time great home run moment for the Jays. Funny how I saw this, and I know it's right, just didn't think about how rare it might be. The Blue Jays have 4 huge late-inning, come-from-behind game or series winning home runs over the years, over the decades. And somebody put that in context, teams don't have 2 of these, but you have Joe Carter, Bautista with the bat flip, Encarnacion. I remember where I was for that game in a bar and how the Orioles wouldn't use Zach Britton because Buck Showalter didn't think it was right to use his closer in a tie, even in an elimination game. And Encarnacion beat him. And then it was Springer the other night, down 2 in the bottom of the 7th, one of the all-time flips in win probability in playoff history, down 2 in the 7th like that. No outs, right? No outs for that home run?
That's right.
But no less incredible of a moment.
Yeah.
I'll be in there on Saturday. Things change. I said yesterday I wasn't going to go, but now I am. And when I thought about that OK Blue Jay song last night, I got chills.
Yeah,
I'm just so ready to go and feel that, having never been to a game in the World Series. The closest I've come was an NLCS game, Pirates-Braves, in the early 90s. Wakefield,
all right.
The late Tim Wakefield, pitched a gem for Pittsburgh at Three River Stadium against Atlanta. Atlanta would win the series, but I still remember that night very well. Out in right center field at Three Rivers, barely able to see anything.
Right.
But still, I always like having that in my pocket that I went to that game. Here's Mike Wilner, frequent guest of ours over the many years with the Blue Jays, but never like this. Mike, it doesn't feel right, nothing personal, of course, to congratulate you on the Blue Jays' accomplishments, but congratulations to Toronto. It's really been a long time.
I mean, you can congratulate me if you want. I had a whole hell of a lot to do with it, I think.
I will. Congratulations, Mike.
Good
Great
job,
Mike Wilner.
Good job.
Thank you. First of all, that NLCS game you're talking about, just in 92, I think, I saw the first pitch Tim Wakefield ever threw as a professional and broadcast it. So it was super cool. He was just down the road from you guys in Welland with the Pirates.
Oh, okay.
And in 1989, he was their third baseman, hitting like 160. And one day in August, he just came out to the mound, and we're all like, what the heck is this? And he starts flipping up knuckleballs, and 3 years later, he's killing it in the NLCS.
Went on to have a fantastic career, the late
What a sad story in the end. He and his wife.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
The Blue Jays here, Mike, I guess, sort of big picture. I know we talked before the season started. What were the expectations? How amazed or surprised are you that all this has happened?
You'll remember that when we talked about the expectations, I said that I expected them to be a fringe playoff team, to maybe get in as the third wild card. And that was seen as incredibly optimistic for this team. For them to wind up doing what they did and being the top seed in the American League, I mean, some of it has to do with the fact that there were really no great teams in the American League at all. But a lot of it just has to do with this relentlessness of the offense and the incredible defense and how opportunistic they were as a team in taking advantage of whatever the opposition gave them. Nobody saw this coming, and it has just been such a treat to watch.
Those are the best seasons, aren't they? I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
They're the best seasons.
If you were to ask me, out of all the Jays teams that I've covered, and I've covered like every single one of the last 30 years, this is probably the 6th or 7th best team, I think. But at the same time, it's the best team because it's the one that's going to the World Series. And you're right. This is so much fun to cover.
Yeah, I mean, the best I can do for a comparison here locally, I got to go back 20 years to when the Sabres were first good in 05 and 06. That was a season we did not really see coming. It didn't start off great even, and by the end, they were some bad luck injuries away from going to the final. The following year, everyone was expecting the same thing, and the season was nowhere near as fun because expectations were like, go win, go be the best team in the league, and we'll see what happens, in May. And that, when that team comes through, that is also satisfying. But for me, at least the way I'm wired, it's way more gratifying if a team sort of comes out of nowhere and goes on a run like this. And especially, like you've already said, like some of the pieces that are coming through here, guys that spent significant time in Buffalo even, are not guys you would have been counting on back in April and May.
Very clearly, because the way they ran their off season showed that they weren't counting on these guys. They signed they traded for Andres Jimenez because they didn't believe in Ernie Clement. They signed Anthony Santander because they didn't know what they had in Addison Barger. So it wasn't just us who didn't see it coming. It was them who didn't see it coming. It wound up costing them $200 million, but they're the ones who didn't see it coming either. But as out of nowhere as this was, because the Jays finished in last place last year, we do have to remember that 3 of the 4 years before that they made the playoffs, and one of those years, the 1 year they didn't, they only missed by a game, knocked out on the last day of the season. So this has been bubbly. This year and last year were supposed to be the 2 best years of the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Bo Bichette era, but last year was just such a disappointment that it kind of knocked everybody off the rails.
Mike, what's the latest on Bichette? Do you expect him to play in the series, and like how prominent might he be here, like in terms of where he bats, and how do you think he might perform?
Funny you should ask. I'm actually writing a column about that right now. It will be in the Toronto Star tomorrow. I absolutely expect him to be on the roster, but I don't know that I expect him to play much. He's been out for 7 weeks, but he's such a good hitter. Like, I'm never worried about that swing. I think that Bo could fall out of bed on Christmas Day and get 3 hits. But the problem is he can't play defense. I can't imagine that there's any scenario. He's barely run the bases yet. I can't imagine he plays shortstop, which means that if he's going to hit, he has to DH. And if he's going to DH, George Springer has to play the outfield. And George Springer hasn't put a glove on yet this entire postseason. He's DH'd every game, and he took that 96-mile-an-hour fastball off his knee back on Friday night. So I don't know if he can play the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not taking him out of the lineup. So I think Bichette may just be a big spot pinch hitter early on in the series, and then if Springer's knee gets well enough that he can run around in the outfield, then maybe Bo DHs.
With Mike Wilner, so it's just such a fun experience here, just sort of following. I'm a total bandwagon fan when it comes to the Jays. Guerrero, Springer, Mike, so, you look at his stats, and, this is really a question for you, of course. I'm not intimately following it day to day like you would be as a reporter. But you look at the last 4 years, and I don't know, how much hope was there from you, or do you think in general, from the Jays, even that he turned in a season like this one? Where did it come from? Was it somewhat to be expected, or was it really kind of a shock?
Kind of a shock doesn't do justice to shocks. We were thinking all right, second last game of spring training, all right, after George Springer in 2024 was the worst hitter in Major League Baseball for 5 of the 6 months of the season. Strangely enough, in that 6th month, he was the best. But in the other 5, he was the worst hitter in Major League Baseball. His last game of spring training, the second last game of spring training, he looks terrible striking out in his first at-bat. He had 1 hit all spring to that point. And one of the reporters beside me just whispered to himself, retire. He was going to be 36 years old this year. He looked so bad. And then he homered in his next at-bat. And he hasn't stopped since. Nobody saw this coming. We were trying to figure out who was going to be playing right field for the Blue Jays on May 15th after they gave Springer 6 weeks and he was hitting 150 and he was done. This to be third in the league in OPS behind only Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, who hit 60 homers, nobody saw this coming.
So L.A., we know as a great team. I mean, they've been around for years, all the money, Ohtani, all of it, just the prowess of the Dodgers. But it's also a baseball series where, the worst teams can beat the best teams. We know that too. How do you handicap this? Blue Jays start at home. If they're able, they'll finish at home too, 1, 2, 6, 7. How much of a chance do you give them?
I mean, they've got more than a puncher's chance, I think. Every time you've written this team off, they have surprised you, everybody, all year long. Like, there were so many times. They started the season 12-8. That was pretty good, but then they lost 16 out of 20, and we thought, okay, this is what we thought. But then they were the best team in Major League Baseball from that point on, and they lost 6 out of 7 to blow a 6.5 game lead in the AL East with like a week and a half left in the season. Then they won their last 4 to win the division when they needed to. They blew that 6-1 lead against the Yankees in Game 3 and had a bullpen game the next day, and everybody thought they were done and won the series. They were down 2-0 at home in the ALCS and then lost Game 5 after coming back to tie it. Everybody thought they were done. So I've learned to really, every time you expect them to lose, they win, and every time you expect them to win, they generally don't, but they've also won 101 times this season. So the Dodgers are this great team. There's no question that they're a better team than the Blue Jays, but that hasn't seemed to matter. And I don't think they're going to – they're the underdogs for a reason. I don't think they're going to win the World Series, but they might. I wouldn't put it past them. And it's so interesting. Like the storyline of the Dodgers, they have Shohei Ohtani, who the Blue Jays really wanted. They have Roki Sasaki, who the Blue Jays really wanted. They have Teoscar Hernandez, who the Blue Jays wanted. They have Freddie Freeman, who the Blue Jays really wanted. They went after all 4 of those guys in free agency, and they all signed with the Dodgers. The Jays struck out on every one of them, and yet here they are without all of them in the World Series. It's pretty cool. They might get stomped they might win in 5 games. I mean, that's the beauty of this team. It doesn't matter who's better. It only matters who's better that week.
Boy, that is really juicy. That those guys that Toronto chased them all. I didn't know about the depth of it. I obviously knew about Ohtani. How's the pitching? What do we got? Like, to start off the series here. Like, what's the order starter wise?
They haven't announced it, but there's no reason to believe it's going to be any different than the other two. It'll be Kevin Gausman, I assume, in Game 1, and Trey Savage in Game 2. Shane Bieber in Game 3 and Max Scherzer in Game 4.
Loved Bassett in Game 7 against
you
Seattle.
guys only got Savage in Buffalo for a month, but what a crazy story that is.
Yeah, he tried to get to every professional team this year, all 50 states, but didn't quite make it. Mike, for all the conversations we've had over the years, your line, I don't think they're going to win the World Series, but they might, is my favorite. I mean, because, they're in it, and let's just have fun with it and see what happens. Their lineup is so good. You've got some, there's pitching to like, too. I just can't wait for it. I'll be up there Saturday night, and that'll be just an insane experience. So can't wait. Any Bills questions, Mike?
All right. Say hi. Pardon?
Any Bills questions or anything we can help you with before you go?
I've already used up the Bills in my survivor pool, but I thought I was done last week because I had the Broncos, but that happened.
Wow, that's a nice.
Yeah.
What
I need some help. I will definitely check in with you guys.
What a survival that was, Denver. 33 points in the fourth quarter. That definitely looked dead. Mike, thanks. Enjoy the series.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, cheers, man.
Mike Wilner, Toronto Star. Read on Bo Bichette. I just shortened it. Bo Bichette from Mike by tomorrow. Game 1 is Friday night. Goes Friday, Saturday in Toronto. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in L.A. Then next Friday, Saturday back in Toronto. So
if necessary.
If necessary. Yep. Very cool. All right. Sal coming up at 5. The latest on the Bills' injuries. There are still some issues here, despite the bye week. Limited on a couple of guys that are important for Sunday. We'll talk about that and more with Sal in about 15 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Tyrod Taylor is injured. Something with his knee.
Yeah.
May or may not be the Jets starter Sunday in Cincinnati, I believe, that game. Jets at Bengals. Joe Flacco revenge game.
Justin Fields revenge game.
Against the Jets.
Whatever. If he's got to play, it's like you just, the owner basically laid him out yesterday. It would really be something. If Fields, maybe that's your soft spot for him to throw for 250 and run for 2 scores, right? If Tyrod can't go, I'm assuming they would pivot back to Fields. If Tyrod can't go, I don't know what else there is behind him there, but.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't know. I'm bending over backwards to try to find a scenario where one of your fantasy payoffs finally comes in and Fields has a week. I don't know.
He's had 3 monster fantasy weeks this year, ironically, Fields, because they're 0-7 and his owner is like, he can't complete a pass. I mean, he's had 3 huge games. Not the Bills game where he was concussed and maybe scored 4 points, but the opener and then a couple others with garbage time in mind. Tomorrow night is Minnesota at the Chargers, 3.5 L.A. In that one, we might get into that one more later. Tomorrow will be Joe Ostrowski and also Ross Tucker, who had to reschedule from Tuesday. Sal joins us next, the latest on the Bills. And do the Bills have ping pong tables and video games that are, I guess, not a problem since they have a winning record? We'll see what Sal knows about that. Sabres tonight home to Detroit. Pregame at 6:30 here on WGR.
The Bills' first injury report for the week is out, and 3 players did not practice today. Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp, and Josh Palmer, while 5 players were limited. Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Milano, Curtis Samuel, and Maxwell Hairston. An important note for Hairston, this is his first practice back since picking up his LCL sprain all the way back in training camp. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Do stay tuned. We'll get more on the Bills as they got back to work today, as Sal Kapacio will join the show next. Staying with injuries, the Bills' opponent this weekend is the Carolina Panthers, and while it was reported earlier this week that quarterback Bryce Young would miss due to a high ankle sprain, Young was actually out at practice today, and reporters said he was not wearing a boot or walking with a noticeable limp. We'll see how that progresses as the week continues. Some other quarterback injury notes. Lamar Jackson limited today officially as he returned to Ravens practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. Jaden Daniels of Washington also dealing with a hamstring injury, though he is out for this week. Marcus Mariota will get the start at quarterback. And then Sabres game night tonight as they host Detroit. 6:30 pregame, 7:30 puck drop. It should be noted it is a TNT broadcast, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. An important lineup note for tonight. Colton Ellis is going to get the start in net, his first start of his NHL career. Then the other big Sabres note is for later this week. The Blue Jays in the World Series, and with that, the start times for the home-and-home series with Toronto later this week have been changed. Friday in Buffalo, a slight adjustment. It's now at 7, and on Saturday in in Toronto, is going to be at 5. And then just 2 other games tonight in the NHL. 7 p.m. sees the Devils host the Wild, and then 8:30, Montreal's out west to take on Calgary. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well, since we have last spoken with Sal Kapacio, it has been a week. And I might say in here, it has been a week. We have heard a lot of theories about a Bills team on a 2-game losing streak going into Carolina, trying to avoid making it 3. Josh Allen has never lost 3 games in a row as the Bills quarterback. Let's get a sense from Sal here. Sal, your sense of the vibes. I mean, is it kind of par for the course after 2 losses? I mean, even from 4-0 and everybody feeling at least pretty good about what the Bills looked like. It's been kind of, what would you say, Bulldog? I mean, it's been bumpy in here since since the Atlanta game.
It's been tense. Yeah, it's been tense. Sal, I'm sure you're getting that on the times you're in on the Extra Point show and just, minding the social medias.
Yeah, I mean, good afternoon, guys. Good to talk with you again. But it's no different or more tense than maybe it has been each of the last 6 years they've lost 2 games in a row, right? I mean, this is what happens. They lose a couple games, and people really have oh my God, what's happening? It's not full-on panic necessarily with most people. Some it is, but that's the job of a fan to maybe be emotional and overreact. And we're monitoring and seeing where they are right now, engaging the temperature. And I would say, the difference here is you have this bye. You go back and you try and see what, you've done or need to do and teams are doing against you. And I got that sense today. Sean McDermott, he talked a lot today when he spoke with us about having clarity of where they need to go, what they need to do. And, I think that this team is well positioned organizationally to handle moments like these, which are the consistency that has to go along with the everyday approach, because that's kind of how they operate, but they still have to go out there and do it, obviously.
What are a couple of areas where, if McDermott or the Bills didn't say so themselves, you think should have been a point of emphasis here in the last week?
Well, they didn't say it themselves, but I would tell you, I think they have to really look at why They're having struggles, stopping the run, obviously. That's number one on defense. We'll take that side of the ball first. Stopping the run on defense, why that's been an issue, what they need to do. I do think availability has been an issue there, even as much as the game on Monday night. Losing Daquan Jones before the game started was not ideal. Deion Walker's playing like 80% of your snaps, right? And you can't have that. But I also think, angles and tackling, the tackling's been an issue. Those are the things that, drive a coach crazy, which are things that you should be able to handle on your own as a football player. Yes, you teach tackling, you go over it, but those are things since you're a little kid. Lining up off sides, details. Sean McDermott said today, and he's right, detail and discipline. Detail and discipline lead to better execution, and he's right. And that they have not been detailed and they have not been disciplined in that regard. I think being able to, identify where guys are, receivers, and attack the football, things like that, like in the secondary, being a little bit more, to me, intentional about attacking the football is something I think they have to figure out how they want to be, how they want to play, what they want to do right there. On the offensive side, I think something that's hurt them the last few games has been teams. Basically, it's the same thing we talked about last year in the two-game losing streak they had, which was when that happened. To me, what I saw is the same thing I'm seeing now. Teams are coming after Josh Allen and daring the Bills to beat them on the outside, and they can't. And the Bills have to have a better answer for that. And that's got to start with, figuring out how to combat the pass rush. That's offensive line, and that is Aaron Cromer. They'll do all their due diligence on that. And that's got to be schemed from Joe Brady and coming up with answers on how to combat that and where to go when those things happen. And then it comes down to the players winning battles as well and trying to get themselves to a spot where they can free themselves up.
What is the likelihood on this last point about winning on the outside that the self-scouting could result in them as a staff? Like, I don't know who would do this, if it's McDermott that would go to Bean or they would just, email one another. I don't know. Like, we've been over it and we need a guy. We need another guy. Like, how, I don't know, is that insane to think that would have happened during this week, or is it maybe right on the nose?
I don't think it's insane. I think the issue is finding a trade partner and also having the cap space. Like, that's just, those are two real life barriers, right, to doing something like that. You can make a trade. They did last year for Amari Cooper. You can go out and do that. You better have a team. You got to have a team, first of all, that's willing to trade with you. And, what kind of asset are you willing to give up? And is that player worth that asset? You don't want to overpay, obviously. Now, I understand people say, heck with the picks and just go and you have this window. I understand all that. And to a point, I understand. I agree with that. Like, go get whatever you need. But you can't be spending first-round picks on Rashid Shaheed, right? You just can't, for an example. That's just something you can't do. That would be negligent by Brandon Beane to do something like that. He's not going to do it. Then you have to have the cap space, and they don't. They have, $2 million, maybe $3 million in cap space. You have to have a player that you could fit under the cap. So the financials are a big part of that. But it's not just looking at himself scouting, Bulldog, and saying, we need a guy. You're right about that, but it also adds to it that Joshua Palmer is out right now.
Right.
And he's week to week. And if you're going to have an answer, he's one of the answers, and he's not available right now.
Right. I think that only increases the urgency out here that fans are feeling to, get another guy. If you wanted another guy while Palmer was healthy, plenty of people did before he got hurt in the Atlanta game, then there's going to be all that more urgency. I wonder how willing, I don't know, the machinations of a trade and the financial, technicalities of it and the realities of it. I wonder if they would be willing to pay up in a pick to get a team to eat salary. Like, I'm thinking about Olave as an example.
Right.
And whatever that's going to cost, can I go up around and have you take, make the money work for me, right? I don't have the room for maybe all that he's due, but if you keep it, I'll throw in an extra third. Or if you wanted to, I'll give you a 1, like that kind of thing. I wonder if they have the appetite for that.
I mean, you could certainly try that. Let's remember the rules in the NFL, though. This is not like the NHL where a team just says, well, we'll just assume the salary. You can't do that. You'd have to literally physically make a new deal with the guy. And you'd have to basically and I'm sure the player would probably be amenable to that if he's going to a situation where it's better for him, right? Where you'd have to redo the contract and say, okay, yeah, I'll do that, and you guys can take money up front now and kind of pay me in a different form, and that way only my base salary goes to my new team, in this case, the Buffalo Bills, right? You can't just do it in a same traditional way that we see in the NHL. Oh, they're retaining 50% of the salary. Like, that just doesn't work in the NFL. You can't do something like that. So, yes, I do think that that's something you could look into. I just don't know how practical it is.
Yeah.
Sal, Dalton Kincaid limited again?
Yeah, limited, but I mean, like, I don't want to like really dwell on the limited guys today too much. Like, I know it's right. We have to talk about them, but it's the first day back. He practiced today. So did Matt Milano. So did Terrell Bernard. It's the first day back. It's a Wednesday. So I just think that, like, the guys who were limited today, yes, I know he was limited all that week and he didn't play, but I think that giving those guys that week and then a whole nother week probably trends pretty well towards them playing. So until tomorrow, when we see what they look like and, you know, what they're doing out there and if they're limited or not, and they might be limited all week, all these guys, for all I know. I kind of get the feeling that a lot of those guys, including Kincaid, will be on the field on Sunday.
All right, that's good to know. You know, he's been a talking point here during this break. He was strong against New England, big night, even though he didn't play all the time, but he had numbers against the Patriots and then missed the Falcons game. And just like it's kind of always been, there's a faction of people who think like a lot rides on him. And I wonder if like that's where we are. I'm not sure I'm really comfortable in that chair, thinking that a lot of this, like the outcome here this year, depends on Dalton Kincaid, but you'd certainly like him to be on the field and producing. How important is he for you to this?
Incredibly important, especially if Joshua Palmer's out. But I think they really missed Dalton Kincaid Monday night against Atlanta. I think it was a huge loss for them. Joshua Palmer getting hurt really doubled down on that. I thought he was a big part of their game plan. It showed it on the first play, 45 yards. Then he has another 15-yard catch. The guy had 60 yards before halftime, and then he got hurt on that play. So I think both those guys, but not having Dalton Kincaid was a huge part of why they had the issues they had against pass protection and not having answers early after the snap, because that's a guy that you can rely on in the middle of the field, hot reads. You see guys coming. If you're going to vacate the middle of the field because you're bringing pressure, that's where you can find Dalton Kincaid a lot of times, right? So I do think he's very, very important. Now, if they don't have Joshua Palmer, you know, they do have a couple guys in the practice squad, but even then I don't think you would lean there, because I think that means more it's Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, and Jackson Hawes. They have 6 receivers on the roster. So if they don't have Joshua Palmer, you can roll with 5. They've done that. And then you just lean more into 13 personnel. And then to go what you just asked, Mike, if you lean more into 13 personnel, you're going to rely more on Dalton Kincaid to have a heavier lift than what he's expected to be and do.
Yeah, if the rest of those receivers are all healthy, then you just don't. Because really what's been happening is Moore and Samuel have been taking turns basically being inactive. And if they're healthy, then both of those guys dress, and that replaces Palmer, I think, in the end. What's the realistic timeline? Do you have a sense of what a realistic timeline is for Maxwell Hairston at this point, Sal?
So my realistic timeline was always the Miami game. He gets his 21-day window opened this week. That window puts him at right after the Miami game. Like, you could literally wait till the day after the Miami game and say, okay, now he's, back on the 53. So, but realistically, to me, it was he practices this week, doesn't play. Practices next week, doesn't play against Kansas City. Practices again, they activate him Saturday night before Miami. He's on the field against Miami. To me, that's realistic. I got to tell you, though, I went out there today and watched him. I want to stop myself short of being too ambitious about that, because I thought he looked really good the way he moved. I mean, you guys can see the video if you haven't yet already. You can catch it on my X feed, and fans commenting too, like, "Oh my God, he looks so fast." He did. I mean, he looked fluid. He looked good. But it's really his second day. They did practice earlier this week, but there was no media, so it's really just his second day back. Sean McDermott was asked today, and his response is about, how much of it is mental. And you have to really keep this in mind, right? It's not just the physical part.
Right.
McDermott basically said it's at least 50% of it is the mental part of being on the field and the defense. And yeah, you can get all those reps mentally and watch it. And Max Hairston said, he, for his part, that was very valuable for him. He got in the playbook. He understood everything. But putting that into use on the field when everything's flying around so fast, that's a different deal. So I think all of that has to come into play here.
And do we know, I've been assuming that Hoyt and Ogunjobi would just go right back into the lineup as soon as their suspensions are up. Is that the case? Did McDermott say it that plainly, or is it we'll see how they get through the week?
He basically said we'll see, but I think that's more of a let's make sure with conditioning everything's good, that they're where they need to be. I'd be stunned if they don't play. I mean, if they don't play, there's something went wrong there to me. There's no reason for them not to. They have been at the facility for the last 3 weeks. They've been conditioning. They've been lifting weights. They've been doing all the things they can do other than practice, essentially. So to me, they're and by the way, I mean, as you guys know, they went through a whole preseason. They went through a whole training camp. They got a lot of reps. I would be really stunned, especially with Daquan Jones being week to week. Larry Ogunjobi has to play. What if Daquan Jones, assuming he doesn't play, you have Ed Oliver and Deion Walker. That's it. Larry Ogunjobi's your third guy, and then you still have to elevate somebody or sign somebody from the practice squad. And then Michael Hoyt, to me, he's just a guy that you need on the field to help you with everything that's been going wrong, because he can allow you to kind of be more versatile and put guys in different positions to kind of have different options on defense.
We haven't talked about Taylor Rapp here at all, but that was new today. I feel like, right?
DNP,
and how I don't know, is Poyer getting elevated to the active roster the pivot here, because Hamlin's already on IR, right?
Yeah. So let's start with Rapp, and then I'll get into the roster gymnastics of all this. So Rapp, apparently it's been something he's been dealing with since about training camp. Maybe Sean McDermott said he's been dealing with all year. His knee. And at the end of the Miami game, I think I mentioned this to you guys when I was on with you, he did come off the field at the end, but it was so late we didn't get official report on him. You know what I mean? So but he did come off the field. Now remember earlier in the game, Bishop came off the field, and Jordan Poyer went on for him, and I thought he played well, and he stabilized the defense. Actually, I thought he did a good job in the second half. And then Bishop went back, but then very late Taylor Rapp came off the field, and Poyer went back on. So now we find out DNP. And what's concerning about his particular case is McDermott said they don't know if it's day to day or week to week right now.
Right.
That's something they're, still going through. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, the natural, I think, spot there would be for Jordan Poyer to then play. But he's on the practice squad, so you could do it two ways. You could elevate him. He has 2 elevations remaining. Or you could simply sign him. Guys, they have 1 open roster spot. And this is where I'm thinking about the roster gymnastics in my mind. Now, I don't know if this is the plan, but something that I think is very much an option here is you have Gabe Davis sitting there as a practice squad injured player. If you guys remember when they signed Gabe Davis, they had to release Jordan Poyer for a day. And the reason they had to do that was you're only allowed a certain number of veterans on the practice squad. Well, if Gabe Davis were to come back and start practicing, you'd be over that maximum again. So to me, you put Jordan Poyer on the 53, that opens that one spot up where you don't have to worry about that. Gabe Davis starts practicing. So you could do that, and even if that's next week, you could do something like that with him. However, the other part about this is because of the defensive tackle situation and the fact that Zion Logue is out of elevations but still on the practice squad, maybe he's the guy that gets signed to the 53-man roster because you can't elevate him, and then you can still use 2 elevations and 1 could be on Jordan Poyer.
We've had a couple calls about Davis in the interim here. How playable an idea for you is he as someone who could really matter here coming up? He's not officially healthy yet, I guess. Right. I guess a short way of asking this is Gabe Davis on your mind?
He is, not because I think Gabe Davis is some sort of savior, but I think Gabe Davis, what he means and why they brought him back to this organization, what they feel about him, which is somebody who can come in, understands everything he's supposed to do. He can play in all situations. He can be a blocker. He's available for Josh Allen and scram. He's been very good at that in his career, which is when Josh is moving around, he's a guy that, he finds Gabe Davis on the sidelines. Remember the Indianapolis Colts catches in Miami in the snow, and that's just the role he's played. And I think considering where you are at wide receiver, you probably need you're going to need somebody. And I know everybody wants the 4-3 guy. That's fine. And I'm not disagreeing with that. And that's not Gabe Davis. But I do think Gabe Davis can matter here by the end of the year.
All right, the big one before we run out of time here. If the Bills say we're to lose in Carolina, what video games and other playtime things are there in the locker room that would probably have to go? I'm wondering if they've actually built an arcade into the new stadium adjacent to the locker room. And if it goes badly, which you do easily, of course, Bulldog, you take all the toys out and you replace everything with books But not just any books, only the Bills playbook. All the books would be the Bills playbook. So we know guys would, get serious for once.
So they do have a ping pong table that is widely used. I mean, these guys, they play ping pong a lot. You walk in the locker room, ping pong table is bam, bam, bam. They're going at it. They're playing it there. Okay?
I remember Ed Oliver was playing with a boot on.
Yes.
Right.
That's when we saw him, like, he's playing ping pong with a boot on, right? Like, okay, that's interesting. Then he got in a scooter, and he rode away. Okay? They also have, by the way, a putting hole, like one of those things where you just putt on the little strip right there, right? They have one of those that happens, and guys can grab the putter every once in a while. They also have a bubble hockey game. I don't know if you guys know that. They have a bubble hockey game inside the locker room. Although I will say, I don't know if I ever can remember someone playing the bubble hockey game.
Because they don't have any quarters.
That's right. Maybe not, but they do have a bubble hockey game, and they have cornhole. And I do see guys playing cornhole against each other once in a while. Like they'll just be there and tossing it, and it's not like it's not as far as you'd get maybe at your your Saturday barbecue outing.
That regulation.
They do have that, but no, that's right. But they do have that. So those are things that they have. Yeah, I don't know the video game. Yeah, I think there has to be. If I remember years past, I haven't seen it this year, but in years past, I've seen guys like have a console hooked up to one of the TVs inside the locker room. So I think you have the ability to do that. But who knows? Maybe with the new stadium and the new locker rooms, that'll be something a little bit more readily available, I think.
What do you think here with the Ravens? I mean, it's so cliche where your team, your season is getting away from you. You just take out all the games, like
yeah, but it was the players, the veteran players' decision. So it's all good.
Let's get serious, and then they win a bunch, and then the ping pong table comes back, and then they lose a couple, and it goes.
Does that prevent players from being injured? Because that's been the issue with the Baltimore Ravens.
That's what I was.
Are they getting hurt?
Are they getting injured playing the video games?
Right.
Now, if that's the case, then I'm all for taking it out, right? But I don't think that's the case.
Right.
If they're putting, they're getting hurt putting.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it really is laughable, the Ravens thing, isn't it? Just
yes.
Of course, the poor ping pong table. Where does it go? Do they donate it to somebody? Like, where does the ping pong table? Is it just like out at the side of the one Ravens Drive? Right. It's just at the road.
No, it's
probably got a logo on. It's purple, and it's just sitting there sadly at the road.
There's some grizzled old like equipment manager type guy there, facilities maintenance manager who's been there longer than Harbaugh. He's been there since the franchise came back to Baltimore, and he just put it in storage because it'll be back.
Storage.
Just put it over here. It'll be back next year, or the new coach, whatever. Just
new stadium.
I got a spot for it. I know where to put it. Just fold it up, and we'll leave it over here.
Bad luck ping pong table.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, shout out real quick to Matt Bove. I knew you guys would ask me the question about what's in the locker room. I said I don't want to be wrong on this. What is exactly in the locker room? And he got me to all the things that we had to. It's like one of those. You go on. Speaking of video games, you have to find the clues, find the picture, something hidden in the picture, right? When you go to the bar and you put it in, like I'm like Matt, what? Oh yeah, that's right. That's where I said I know they had the bubble hockey, and I'm like, oh yeah, he reminded me about the putting hole as well.
All right, good.
Also, they have sorry for when it rains.
I'm sure they probably have a way to do those things, but I do remember last year. Amari Cooper, after he signed, like he would be on his phone playing chess. Like you could see that. He was on his phone. He's playing chess. He would just sit in a little lounge chair and he'd be on his phone playing chess. So they'd sit on their phones. They play some games too. It's not just the video games you have to put in the lockers or on the console on the TV.
I'm glad you mentioned, Matt. It was nice sitting with the two of you after your event at the Buffalo Old Brewery last Thursday. I didn't realize until just now that that's the last time I talked to you. So
oh yeah,
it's been a little while.
Great seeing you. It was a great turnout. Thanks for coming out.
That was a really good scene out there. Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Sal. I guess tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
All right. That's Sal Kapacio on the Western Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
I love thinking about the Bills playing board games in the locker room. I mean, I don't care about cornhole, but how about Operation? How about like Josh Allen and James Cook playing Operation?
Battleship.
And Allen is like sort of the old soul. He's like, it takes a very steady hand. And Cook's trying to get the Adam's apple out. Or the water on the knee. Is that one of them? Water on the knee.
I don't know what the hell you're even talking about.
Water on the knee, I think, is one of them. There's like 10. Yes, isn't it?
It's not water on the knee. What is it? It's just the knee bone. I don't know.
There's one that's water on the knee.
Yeah, on the operation board. I don't think that's right.
No, there totally is water on the knee.
All right. Maybe
totally
your kids are younger than mine. Maybe you played more recently than me.
My kids have never played operation. There's the elbow.
What kind of parenting is this?
Terrible. No, I know it's terrible. I don't even know what they play. They play something. Whatever they have, they play it, but they don't have operation. There's water on the knee. There's the elbow, the funny bone. That's the one in the end that takes a very steady hand. I've got to forget the operation board game commercial script before it's too late. I mean, somebody's birthday has escaped my memory because I'm sitting here with water on the knee memories.
No, don't even get me started about Pop-O-Matic trouble. Then we don't need any of that.
Love that.
Yeah,
I think my kids have played that.
They have. The Bills are. There's a Catan thing within the team. Just speaking of board games, like for real. I don't know if they're playing in the locker room, but I know that there's a group inside the team that likes to play that.
I'd recommend Codenames. I don't even think it's that recent a game, Codenames, but that's a fun one too.
Don't know it.
Bills tournament of Codenames would be fun to know about. Oh. There's an ankle, isn't there? An Achilles? I'm not sure. Anyway, 803-0550 for your calls, your memories of playing Operation. 6:30, Sabres pregame. The Red Wings are in town. Paul Hamilton, then Mike Schopp and the Bulldog after sports here on WGR.
In sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole.
First injury report of the week is out as they get ready to take on the Carolina Panthers. 3 players did not practice: Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp, and Josh Palmer, while 5 players were limited: Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Milano, Curtis Samuel, and Maxwell Hairston. And for Hairston, this is his first practice since picking up his LCL sprain all the way back in training camp. And the Barnes from Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes from Injured for Help. Call 1-800-8-million. For the Panthers, potentially some good news at quarterback. It was reported earlier this week that Bryce Young would miss due to a high ankle sprain, but today Young was out at practice and was not seen in a boot or walking with a noticeable limp. We'll see how that continues on as the week progresses. Over to the Sabres, it is game night. They do host Detroit, 6:30 pregame, a 7:30 puck drop. It is a TNT broadcast, though, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it is going to be right here on WGR. And then maybe the most important lineup note for tonight, Colton Ellis will get the start in net, his first start of his NHL career. And then the other big Sabres news is more towards the end of the week with the Blue Jays in the World Series. The start times for the home-and-home series with Toronto later this week have been changed ever so slightly. Friday in Buffalo is now at 7, and then Saturday in Toronto will now be at 5. And then just 2 other games tonight in the NHL. 7 p.m. sees the Devils hosting the Wild, and then 8:30 Montreal. They're out west to take on Calgary. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Good to have all 3 of those guys. Will get their first real practice today. So again, managing expectations. Let's get them integrated and get them rolling here. There's certainly a conditioning piece. There's a physical piece to it as well, and then there's a schematic piece to it also. So just trying to manage expectations and just take it one step at a time right now, one day at a time.
Sean McDermott, Bills are back at work. Bills at Panthers Sunday. Is this game where we need to see the Bills be the Bills? If they lose, yikes. If they win easily, okay, deep breath, relax. If it's in the middle, I wonder how we'll feel. We'll be on after the game on Sunday, post-game, back that the Bills are now playing at normal times.
Yeah, we've got every one of these except for there's one more primetime game. There's a Houston game on a Thursday in a few weeks.
That we'll do pregame for.
Right. The rest of them, you and me, even these 425ers. So
settle in.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
It's been a pretty easygoing fall so far. For me, anyway. I missed one. You've done 2. I did 1.
2 is all?
Yeah. The Jet game and the New Orleans game were the only 2 games we worked postgame for, and I skipped the Jet game.
Yeah, you would never be seen watching a Jet game.
I did
you
watch.
Would never.
I watched a Jet game, but I was recreationally imbibing while it was going on.
And same here while I was working. We talked about the Jets next year for a minute yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
BetOnline has odds on who their 2026 Week 1 starter will be.
Is it all college guys?
No. The first 3 names are college quarterbacks. The top veteran, however,
Kirk Cousins.
I'll give you 4 guesses now that you've used one. It's not Kirk Cousins. Who is the 9-1 favorite among current NFL players to be the Jets' Week 1 starter next year at BetOnline?
I have one question before I blow through my other 4 guesses. Is Ryan Tannehill still considered an NFL player?
Sure.
All right.
I'm
not going to guess him.
Rookies.
I'm just kidding around. Okay. Well,
it's not Kirk Cousins. Is he somebody's Week 1 starter next year? Yes.
I think everybody that we think is a joke and done gets a new life next year because of Daniel Jones.
Oh, wow. How good. Does Daniel Jones get a cut if Cousins gets a new deal somewhere else?
Every guy that seems like they should be, like, what are we even doing here? Think about how Jones is like, he's not the favorite, but he's an MVP candidate. It was a joke that they were even considering trying him out.
You're right.
To replace Anthony Richardson. It's like
great point.
Everybody else should get consideration.
You're so right. Watch Tyrod Taylor rip off 6 straight wins.
Right. I mean, who knows?
Watch Andy Dalton do it, and I'm serious. I mean, I'm betting on Carolina to make a run with Dalton as long as he stays in, but they'd have to beat the Bills and maybe the Packers next week.
Yeah.
So I'm only sort of betting on it. But I'm open. I think it's not good news to me if Bryce Young plays. It's bad.
Yeah.
For Carolina. He's all right, but
yeah.
I like the veteran spark bump that you get. Your receivers are happy. You can move the ball. There are going to be a couple of picks.
Mac Jones has got to be on this list.
Mac Jones is the answer. Good. I wasn't sure you'd think of him.
I just needed to look at teams and like who's playing right now that would, be on, top of mind if you're looking to bet on this sort of thing offshore, I imagine, because I don't think I can do that at FanDuel.
No. You can't do anything at FanDuel.
Right? So, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is the answer.
Yeah.
9-1. Top veteran choice to be the Jets' Week 1 starter next year. I think it'll be a fun game. For a few years there, we had the game where we're trying to put quarterbacks on teams in the offseason. This could be a great year to do that coming up. Because there are a ton of teams that have problems. I mean, it's double digits in the NFL that really just, even like the Steelers who are doing okay. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. Like they might not expect Aaron Rodgers to be their starter next year or even want him to be. So I think there will be a lot of turnover. Guys like Tua with big contracts or even Kyler Murray, do they just get the axe on their teams? They're just done and want to start over, new coach, new quarterback, all of that. I mean, I think what's Minnesota going to do? I did Purple Insider again today with Matthew Collar. I do that show from a fantasy angle every week. He's off to L.A. right now. They're playing in L.A. tomorrow night, the Chargers. And he's like, McCarthy's got to play next week. This is it.
Yeah.
Enough with this, with Wentz. Just like his opinion. Enough of this. What's the point? So they go to L.A. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. Then they go to Detroit a week from Sunday. Like, oh, perfect. Yeah, put McCarthy in for Detroit. That ought to go well. You got to find out.
Well, maybe it should. I mean, their defense is hobbled, so
Detroit?
it's not that
It's not the worst.
You're probably going to need to score, but it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, I think they're banged up, so I don't know.
You know who might be okay? New Orleans.
Yeah, there's a lot out there that the kid's actually pretty decent. That was around before. Man. Oh, I talked to Steve Bennett. You were off that one day in the run up to that game. You took a day off to go watch curling, I think, or something. And
I planned on it, but I didn't go.
Okay. Well, either way,
I watched it from home.
Steve Bennett was like, the kid, and I heard, no, it wasn't even. Steve's just he's a fan. Greg Cosell is the opposite of that. He's analyzing tape, and in the run up to the Saints game, he's like, I think the guy can play. So I wonder if they'll just sort of keep going there. They've got another guy that they drafted that might even be older than him already.
Tyler Shugg.
Right? Wasn't he like 28 when they drafted him?
Something. But
anyway, he's older. I want to fill out the rest of the list, but I don't know. It's going to get too hard. They're like, what other veterans are listed, right? It's more than just Mac Jones. You said there were 4. Well, there's the college guys.
I was just giving you 4 guesses.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any other names at the ready.
Oh, okay. I nailed it. All right. Then I'm done.
Minshew is somebody, like there are guys like that.
Right.
Always hanging out.
Like, could Geno be one and done in Las Vegas? Like, could he find another job? Now, the problem with him is that he's already lived the Daniel Jones arc. Like he did this. He's the OG of this. Like, He was before Darnold even established himself last year. He goes to Seattle, and suddenly he's the most accurate passer in the league, and he's really good. And like, wow, look at that. Geno Smith. We thought he was kind of a joke. And now it's kind of back to he's kind of a joke. And I don't know if you get a second ride on that merry-go-round. But anybody else who looks like Anthony Richardson.
Man.
Somebody is going to do something with him at some point.
Maybe.
Although he's a special case because he's got the scarlet letter of maybe not really understanding intellectually how football works, but not how the plays are drawn up, but it just doesn't seem that football intelligent to me.
I think the point about Daniel Jones is really good. I mean, the league does this. Don't write off mid or worse veterans that you already decided can't play. But guys that are like projects that are younger, I don't think we'll get the same benefit of the doubt. What's Trey Lance been?
Right.
I mean, for as athletic as he was, to be drafted so high, and San Francisco, a version of Richardson, before Richardson, we can't do it. He got hurt, but then he was dumped. Dallas, and then they gave up, and now he's with the Chargers, I think. Like, I just wonder if he'll ever, even as a third overall pick, not that long ago, if he'll ever get a shot, like a real shot.
He's probably more like Lance. That's why I said, like, he's sort of over there. But there are other guys. Mac Jones is perfect.
He is, and he's not old.
Because he was a first-round pick, and Belichick just turned his back on him in that second year, and the next thing you know, he's out of there. And now he's in the right system, and that works. I'm struggling. I want to think of more guys like him. Like Cousins doesn't quite. He's older. Probably maybe he gets a chance, but. Someone like Matt Jones is way better for that. Even like Brissett's a little older. Like if he continues to look decent for Arizona, I just wonder how many guys will get life out of Daniel Jones.
Guys like Brissett, as you've seen, and Dalton, they'll always be in the league. But do they get the job? Mac Jones could get the job somewhere. Like, we're going to pay you, even like what Fields got with the Jets.
He's done enough already. Like if he plays one more week and it goes well, and then sits down for the rest, and they make the playoffs, and he never plays another down, I'm betting he's a starter somewhere next year. I would bet on it right now. He's a perfect name for it.
Well, you're not going to bet on it with me.
No.
Because I'm out. I agree.
Right.
I think it's all completely fair and balanced. Fair and balanced.
Nice. Sure.
It just came out. Sabres pregame at 6:30. The Red Wings in town. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 8:03:0550. This is WGR. 6:30. Detroit is here. Water on the knee confirmed as an operation.
Yeah.
Object.
Good for you for getting confirmation. I did not recall that.
I had forgotten about a few others. Butterflies in the stomach. Like just a butterfly in there.
Yeah.
The bread basket.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Writer's cramp, where you had to pick a pencil out of the arm.
So what? How was water on the knee? Was there like a little glass?
It was a pail.
A pail of water?
Like a little bucket.
That's hilarious.
And how you get it was like, of course, the handle. You have to grab with the tweezers.
Right,
you have to grab the handle.
And then avoid hitting the edge of the, yeah, right.
Water on the knee is a real thing.
Well, it's a real thing, and it's a real thing in that game now, I've learned.
Well, it's a thing in the game, but it's also, of course, it would be a real thing, but maybe you've never heard of it. Water on the knee. Arthritis can cause it. Where's the Marvel movie drug ad for water on the knee? We got it for everything else. I've got my gastroenterologist on line 2 here waiting to tell him about whether I have Lou Gehrig's disease. Tell your doctor. It could cause death. That's the 11th possible side effect of 50 that they mention on every one of these ads is death. Maybe just you're burying the lead here. Don't take it if you're allergic to it. By the way, if you didn't know, if you're allergic to it, don't take it.
Don't take it if you're not ready to die.
Pretty much. Water on the knee needs its own semantics or one of these with the parentheses of the 20 consonants in a row underneath it.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time for that.
I know all about water on the knee. When I was a runner, I would the turkey trot was on Thanksgiving, and then of course Thanksgiving would be all the eating, and then in order to feel good about myself, like okay, Friday morning I gotta go run, and I always felt like I had gravy on the knee. On those Black Friday treks around Delaware Park, I'd be like, gravy on the knee. Darn it.
I see.
Get it? See, gravy on the knee.
Gravy on the knee.
You
Is there
feel free to use that after the turkey trot, everybody, next year. I've been just sitting on that for all these years. Gravy on the knee.
I mean, it's too late to rename teams. Maybe just like if they're going bad, take the ping pong table out, rename the team.
Gravy on the knee.
Gravy on the knee. I'm going to have to make a couple of changes here. It's that good. Oh, my God, the commercials. I felt like watching the Game 7 the other night that the baseball was the commercial. The drugs were the constant, and the baseball was the breaks.
Yeah.
It's just I've said enough. I refuse to let my moderate to severe disdain for those commercials define me.
Well said.
Jay is with us. Hi, Jay.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I'm 100% in agreement with Bulldog. It is not the defense. The defense has been great. Think about it. The defense has been great since the Baltimore game. And, yeah, they've had sluggish starts, but they made the plays when they needed to make the plays. You think about that Atlanta game, we had the ball. We punted, 5 times in the first half? So the offense just needs to get some juice. Brady needs to get more creative.
I don't want my name anywhere near the defense has been great, just so I appreciate the support, but I would not say it's been great, but I have a bigger problem with their inability to score points the last 2 games than I do with the points they've given up, ultimately. I know what it's looked like, but they couldn't cover Diggs, they couldn't cover London, and they couldn't tackle Bijan Robinson, but they lost 23-20 and 24-14. Like, to me, that's passable.
Yeah, and
it's not great. It's passable.
I'm not out here saying they're number one defense, but they made the plays when they needed to make the plays, and the offense has just let us down time and time again in these last 2 games. So I'm confident that they'll get it back, but they definitely need to get some juice on that offense for sure. And hopefully maybe KK comes back and helps us. I don't know.
Thank you, Jay. Respect that. But look, Bulldog, I'm not arguing with you here. If you're the guy who says, I need that one play, they're 20-20 with New England, and Daquan Jones has May wrapped up, and what happens? He throws it to Diggs, who gets away from a tackle, and they make a couple more plays, and they win. The Falcons get the ball, it's 21-14, 5-6 minutes left, whatever it is. Isn't that where, if they need to make the play, they do? Nobody makes that play. The Falcons drive, they walk down to a field goal and kick it and win the game. Like, it's not like it always happens. There have been times when it did, but there are plenty of times when the offense has made the play. It's a little bit too close for my ears to, like, the goalie needs to make the saves when I think it's important. Not just X number of saves over X, Y number of shots. It's only when I think it's important. The save at the, quote, right time, which I think is just nonsense. I need all the saves. I need 93% of the saves, or else I'm probably, not a playoff team. I don't get to decide when they matter. I just need saves. And the plays at the right time, offense or defense, get me a lead. Then we don't care.
I have a much easier time agreeing with all that if that game is 37-35 or something. But I scored 14 points. I mean, I took a nap for hours of that game on offense. To me, the defense did not lose them the Atlanta game.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. More time to talk about this compelling subject and Operation Toys. What are they called? Objects. After the update, pregame for Sabres Red Wings at 6:30 on WGR.
The Buffalo Bills' first injury report of the week is out. Just 3 players did not practice today: Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp, and Josh Palmer. And then 5 players were limited: Terrell Bernard, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Milano, Curtis Samuel, and Maxwell Hairston. And for Hairston, this is his first practice since picking up that LCL sprain earlier in training camp. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-million. One injury note for the Bills' opponent this weekend, the Carolina Panthers. It was reported earlier this week quarterback Bryce Young would miss due to a high ankle sprain, but in the first practice of the week, Young was out there and was not seen wearing a boot or walking with a noticeable limp. We'll see how that continues as the week progresses. Lamar Jackson was limited today in his official return to Ravens practice. And then Washington, they are going to be going with Marcus Mariota at quarterback as Jaden Daniels is dealing with a hamstring injury. Sabres pregame coming up in about a half hour at 6:30, a 7:30 puck drop as they are going to host the Detroit Red Wings. It is a TNT broadcast, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. And then perhaps the most important lineup note for tonight, Colton Ellis will get the start in net, his first start of his NHL career. And then looking down the line to the rest of the week, some notes for the Sabres with the Blue Jays in the World Series. The start times for the home-and-home series with Toronto later this week have been changed ever so slightly. Friday in Buffalo is now at 7, and then Saturday in Toronto is now going to be at 5. And then a light night in the NHL, just 2 other games. 7 p.m. sees the Devils hosting the Wild, and at 8:30, Montreal is out west to take on Calgary. And Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday, all season long, and visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Welcome to the Hotel Hell. Check-in time is now, check-out time is never.
It's Mike Schopp.
Does my room have cable? No. And the sheets are made of fire. Can I change rooms? Sorry, we're all booked up. Hell convention in town.
And the Bulldog.
Can I have a late checkout? I'll have to talk to the manager. You're not the manager, even in your own fantasy? I'm the owner. The co-owner. With Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
Okay. Just so I understand it, in your wildest fantasy, you are in hell, and you are co-running a bed and breakfast with the devil.
And the Bulldog.
Yeah, but I haven't told you my salary yet. Go. $80,000 a year.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. Just in here, Bulldog is talking my ear off about fantasy running backs. I mean, thank God the show was back on after that 5 minutes. No, in all seriousness.
No, you're talking into the void. You're asking me, but you know I'm not going to answer you.
I'm just really talking to myself.
You're talking to yourself. Who should I be picking up? And what are we supposed to do here? I offered some contribution, right? There's a Saints guy that scored against the Bills that's hurt now.
Yeah, that does me a lot of good.
That's a name that's
out for the year.
Right, yeah, very helpful. Right.
Andre Miller.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's like if you draft sort of meaning to have your second running back slot just kind of be whoever, because you're loading up on receivers and maybe you're drafting an elite quarterback or even an elite tight end, then maybe you want like what they call the hero RB. Like you draft a McCaffrey and then just don't draft a running back again until like round 8.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very popular strategy. The logic is in part, I'm going to get to waivers and pick up whoever fills in for somebody that got hurt. Who's that so far through 7 weeks of the NFL season? There are some of those guys, but they don't do anything. James Conner got hurt. His replacement went to IR the next week. Carter, DeMercado, there's someone else, like Bam Knight. None of that's usable. Hampton gets hurt with the Chargers. They go to Vidal and Haskins, and like that's okay. Guys like Scadaboo, and I know you just heard all this, Those guys were drafted, in most leagues, certainly in high-stakes league, they were drafted.
It's even better the second time around.
It is, because I've had a chance to rehearse it.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you supposed to be turning to? There was no waivers guy this year to save you. And some of those rookies like R.J. Harvey, Travion Henderson, they don't do anything.
Right.
They don't get used. So I feel jammed again. Like
where's Tank Bigsby when you need him?
He was traded. Like this year, the bet was right in how Barkley and Henry, and I guess to an extent Kamara, but the two big ones, like the veterans, not McCaffrey, have bombed. And you can't take them out. You can't take Barkley out, right? Who's doing that? Who's benching Saquon Barkley? He's not hurt. If he were hurt, you'd be better off.
Right.
But
you're going to keep going because you don't want to take him out because that's going to be the week that he scores 3 touchdowns.
You can't take him out. Last year, you missed on him. If you faded Barkley, you got crushed. This year, you didn't. But still, who were you supposed to get that saved you if you did that? I don't know.
This really hit. I'm just looking in our league, which is not a big. There should be more guys available in our league than right.
Yes, 10 teams.
Only 10 teams.
That's right.
I'm just looking at available running backs. I mean, you know this. But
yeah, let's hear the list.
Tyjae Spears, Justice Hill, Samaje Perine, Kyle Monangai, the guy that scored for the Bears. Monangai, thank you.
Nailed it.
Isaiah Davis, Xavier Scott, who?
Minnesota.
Sean Tucker.
Maine Black Bears, Xavier Scott.
Jeremy McNichols, Jerome Ford. There's Ollie Gordon, that name came up. Brashard Smith. Right? Watch out, Kansas City. They can't run the ball. They're going to pivot to Brashard Smith.
Which they still might.
Maybe.
Or they'll just use Kareem Hunt and get 17 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown, and he'll just block on time.
I'm 3 names from Nyheim Hines right now on this list.
Is that Chargers
that
now?
I just ran down. I don't even.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's the uniform. Yeah, they play Minnesota. Yeah, Chargers. Yeah.
That all yellow didn't work out.
Yeah,
against the Colts.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Even in a 10-team league, what are you supposed to do?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, that is tough.
It's so tough.
Ty Johnson's available in our
Ty
league.
Johnson. See, that in theory, I looked at him today and won. But, what happens if when am I starting Ty Johnson? It's like if Cook goes down, and then it's maybe Davis, right? I mean, I don't think I want to cut Ray Davis in fantasy. But people are. He doesn't play. And when he plays, you're not getting anything. You can't, you're just sort of taking a bench spot. And you get to the time of year where, now I need to make the playoffs and I got to do something. But at least there aren't those running backs available that can save you, I think. That's how it feels.
I had not noticed. I was in here. I told the story on the air about how Paul was texting me because I had some stuff that was not.
You were non-compliant.
I was non-compliant, right? So, but I did not. I fixed that, and I didn't even really look at the rest of it, who's on bye and all this. I'm just looking at my lineup for this week's game, and it's just...
6 teams on bye. You could be. There are some good players on bye.
Holy cow!
Detroit,
Krosky, Merritt, and Scadaboo as my running backs. Matthew Golden, Rashid Shaheed,
ouch,
George Kittle,
future Bill,
Harold Fannin, Jr., Flacco. That's my team.
You're back to Flacco. You're giving him a second start.
I have no choice. Not that it matters. Harrison Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr., I've got the team of juniors. They're not doing anything. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be better off with Matthew Golden this week than I have been with Brian Thomas Jr. and his freaking 6 stupid points. Thanks for coming.
Who was the other quarterback on this team with Flacco?
Hurts.
Well, you're playing him.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But
he's not on bye.
Flacco has taken Kyler Murray's spot here while Murray has been hurt.
Convalescing.
Yes.
And they're on bye this week, so you don't even have an update to look for on Murray.
I wouldn't have a choice anyway.
Seattle, Arizona, Vegas, Detroit, Rams, Jaguars are the bye teams.
Really trims the pool down to make picks. There's not that many games.
Right. At least there's no London game. You can sleep in a little bit. If you're going to Toronto the night before for the World Series, that's a blessing.
You just want to make it in time for the Bills game. Yeah, you get a little more time.
You know what I was thinking last night? So I was a Leaf fan as a kid. And when I went to college, I even sort of, it came out bolder, it came out bigger. Because I liked, I liked being different, and I liked the Sabres just as much, but living in Rochester, I thought the Leaf thing was more interesting. They were good teams. The Sabres were pretty good, too. The Sabres were kind of the same, that they would just lose in the first round. Then 1993 happens.
Mm-hmm.
And both the Sabres and Leafs win incredibly in the first round. Mayday for Buffalo. It was tough to get Sabres games in Rochester. I couldn't see some of those games. I remember Game 3 of the Boston series on a TV. Like, we really couldn't get it. And then Himalev scores this sort of weird overtime goal, and you just couldn't even make it out on the screen. Getting the Leafs was not even possible unless they were on ESPN or something. But Sabres sweep the Bruins. Leafs, miraculously, I want to say, beat Detroit in 7. Like, they were not the Red Wings. Red Wings were great. Beat them in 7. Then they win. The Sabres go out. Everybody gets hurt, and they lose to Montreal. Leafs beat St. Louis in 7 in the second round, and then it's the Kings with Gretzky.
That St. Louis series is like the Gilmore in his office behind the net series.
Game
right?
1.
Right.
So now it's like the ultimate Leafs and Kings, Leafs against Gretzky.
Right.
So good. And it only hit me last night, Toronto-LA, the World Series. Oh, yeah.
There's that history is there.
And I just was not ready for it. I started thinking about that again, and I realized, like, I still feel pain over that they lost to Gretzky, hat trick in Game 7. Like, I still feel pain over that. But, I'm 53 years old. I'm like, okay, well, settle down. But then I thought about this. Here comes the World Series. Blue Jays, first time in 32 years. Dodgers are always in the World Series, right? But no end to the list of who could throw out the first ball for you. Right? No end to that list. Maybe they sit around and, like, just throw out names. Great players. Canadian icons. Whatever. Like, just, there might be a list of 100 people that they might consider to throw out the first ball for a World Series game. Perhaps Wayne Gretzky would make that list.
Maybe.
He's not from Toronto. He's close enough.
Sure.
He's Wayne Gretzky. The Dodgers could do the same thing. And he could be on their list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, like, they could both fight over Wayne Gretzky. I think. Has there ever been a series where both teams ask the same person to throw out a first pitch? Like, what a power move if say the Jays get Gretzky to throw out the first pitch Game 1 Friday night, and then we go to L.A. in Game 3, and who's going to, ladies and gentlemen, here to throw out the first pitch is Wayne Gretzky, Kings legend.
Tears off the Blue Jay jersey he wore on the other night, and now he's got a Dodger jersey on.
Right?
Yeah, the Jays cannot ask him to throw out the first pitch.
Why?
Because he played for L.A. He beat the Leafs. Like, that would be bad karma. You cannot.
I think you're right. I agree.
You cannot put that guy out there. As much of he's Wayne Gretzky. His career transcends having been on the Kings, but still,
yeah,
he did you in. You can't do that.
No, you can't. You definitely can't ask Zhitnik. Who was on that Kings team?
You know how much I loved him when he was on the Sabres.
Yes,
I loved him back then. Like, he was maybe brand new. Was he a rookie even that year? I just remember that run they went on, and just what a kind of a story he was. I think he wore number 2 for the Kings, if I remember right.
Okay.
And I just loved how he played. And I just always, when his name was attached to that trade, I was like, I love this guy. This is my guy. And to me, he was a great Sabre.
What was the trade?
Holy cow.
With the Kings.
Right. Man, I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't either.
I think that trade happened the same day as the NFL expansion draft with the Panthers and the Jaguars. Because I was working part-time at BEN at the time. This was before I had a show, but I was, just doing some reporting and some writing and stuff for Howard, not for the website because they didn't have one. But But I remember going to talk to John Muckler at Saberland Hockey Outlet out on Niagara Falls Boulevard in Wheatfield about the trade, and I got sick. And I was sick there doing it, but I wanted to do it, so I did it. I went home and had the flu really bad and a fever, and I remember watching the NFL expansion draft, and Carolina selected Keith Gogenius from the Bills.
Yes.
Like, that's one day to me, but I don't remember the particulars of the trade. We could look it up.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
3 for 3. The Sabres trade Grant Fuhr, who had already been acquired from the Leafs.
Right.
He's not on that Leaf team, but Darren Pupa is, and Andrechuk is, from the trade between the Sabres and the Leafs. Grant Fuhr, Philippe Boucher.
Okay, yep.
And Dennis Segurov.
Those were all gettable.
To the Kings for Zhitnik, Charlie Huddy. Yeah.
Charlie Huddy.
And Rob Stauber, goalie.
Charlie Huddy is great. There was a guy in the odd.
He should throw out the first.
There was a guy in the odd that I remember. Maybe it was more than one. Maybe it was more than one. But I just remember I went to a lot of games when Huddy was on the team, and whenever Huddy would be on the ice or like get near the play, there was some dude in the odd you could hear just yelling, "Huddy, Huddy!" It was the best. That helmet, he had a lot of style. Charlie Huddy.
He had a unique style.
He had a lot of style.
I'm not sure he's walking the runway, but he had some style.
Hockey style. I liked his hockey style. Yeah.
Zhitnik also 53. We're the same age.
I should fact check whether I'm right about this NFL expansion draft, but
you probably are.
That's how I remember that day, is being sick out at Saberland, Zhitnik trade, and then that draft happening.
And he did wear number 2 for the Kings.
Okay.
So we're narrowing down the list of people.
They had 2. Wasn't maybe Daryl Sador was a young defenseman on that team too?
5?
Yeah. The two of them.
I just don't want to talk about the 93
Sador
Kings.
and sorry.
This has to stop.
Those guys went on to have great NHL careers, and they were babies on that King team that went to the finals.
Kerry Frazier would not be an appropriate choice to throw out the first ball on Game 1. Speaking of that series. That's not fair. I don't like saying that because, refs aren't going to get them all right.
I mean,
an egregious, famous missed call.
Bautista would be a good choice.
Yeah, but then there's the Game 1 choice. Then there's the Game 2 choice, where now you got to get a little smart. Game 1 maybe is more obvious. Bautista was at Game 7, so he's right there. You've got him right there.
Right.
Oh, I'd love to be in that meeting.
Right.
Who can we get? You don't want to be the Leafs here and just pick a guy because he's a hockey legend, because you're Toronto, you're Canada.
Right.
You don't need to be the Leafs here. I don't have any idea. Have they been having this already in the playoffs? Do they have this for the LCS?
I don't know. I haven't seen, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Joe Carter.
Yeah, you got to go to Joe. You go right to Joe Carter.
Right to Joe Carter.
Yeah, that should be the answer.
Yeah.
It was the first guy I thought of. I just wanted to Google and make sure he was still with us.
Molitor.
Which he is.
Oh, he's still with us. He is with us.
So go
Paul Molitor.
Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a big. Go get Joe
You'll
Carter.
never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Yeah.
You had it.
Yep. I didn't have it. I had the start of it, and I wasn't sure what the end was. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I set the table. You got to drive in the runs.
You want a World Series hero, and they have Joe Carter, as opposed to I don't know. I shouldn't say this, but say the Sabres they don't have the first ball for hockey. The Sabres make the finals, and you have somebody like ceremonial
puck drop.
You got to make sure it's somebody that you don't associate with losing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, they've never won it. You got to be careful there.
That is really tough.
And you don't want somebody else's winner that just played for you.
Eric Stahl, for example.
Imagine.
That would be he's
in the organization.
That would be a really bad choice.
I believe he's a member of the organization.
Yes.
He's one of the ones that maybe doesn't live around here, but he's in the organization.
That is correct, yes.
Oh, my God. You got right to Eric Stahl. I was thinking like the 90s or the 80s.
No.
Eric Stahl dropping the puck.
I'm now I'd be stunned if it's not Joe Carter.
Well, I don't know what he's
Friday
up to.
night. I would be stunned if it's not Joe Carter.
Game 2, a different deal.
Yep, that's right.
Tonight, Game 1 of the season series between the Sabres and the Red Wings. Pre-game coming up next. Paul Hamilton will join Bulldog. I'm heading out, so stay tuned for that. Sabres pre-game, hockey at 7:30 downtown. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.